It just proves the internet will lewd anything it can get its hands on.
Oh, absolutely. I mean that's almost what it was made for. Right up there with military surveillance. It's porn. The universal language. Fuck Esperanto. Porn is the universal language. You show a picture of titties to anyone, they understand what it is. Whether they're into them or not, they get it. Hello, everyone! My name is Deckerlink, the trained unprofessional, and welcome to All of the Above. Joining me today, finally at long goddamn last, my eternal co-host, the man, the myth, the guy who thought that a hoodie and a shovel constituted a Halloween costume, my co-host for life, Caleb Evans. Welcome back to the show that we created, you and I.
Oh, and how good it feels to be back. And to be fair, I scared more old ladies than you did.
That is true. I mean, if any holiday was going to be defining that as a success, it was Halloween, and you did your job. You scared the fuck out of them.
How many people did want to come to the door?
Oh my fuck. Anyway, yes. It's a rainy day here, man. It's rainy. It's apparently I just got someone came to my door. They said there was fucking pouring just like down the street. So it's gonna hit here. So hopefully that doesn't impact this recording at all. If it does, we'll figure it the fuck out. But
I'll trade you. It's 91 degrees out here.
I didn't say it was cold. It was when I went to the store earlier today. It was fucking 101.
Yet somehow you are further from the equator.
Right? Man, it's the first time it was actually over 100 since while I've left the house. Granted, I don't leave the house that often, but it was the first time I was subjected to it. Like, that's why my audio quality is kind of shit right now, is because my door to the office is open, so you can hear the air conditioner out there. You hear Spoof walking around. You're going to hear the thunder because I'm right next to a fucking window. So yeah, my sound is kind of shit, but I'm not going to fucking suffocate myself in a goddamn hot box for the sake of audio quality.
Oh, I get you. I'm in the same kind of place. I put my dogs to sleep. Then they're on their bed asleep.
Okay. You cut out right after a little bit after you said I put my dogs to sleep. I was like, what does that have to do with a conversation about temperature?
No, they're kind of dumb. So when I train them to lay down, they think that means go to their bed.
Oh.
So.
Well, you know what? Nap time is nap time. I've come to love it, and they will too. So, first I wanted to address the lack of talking back segment on this particular episode. Talking back is where normally we'd be answering any questions. We're also going to be introducing, if you have any topic suggestions, things you want to hear us talk about. That's going to be a part of it. The fan requested topic of the week. If you have multiple, that'd be fine too. We're here for an hour or so. Eventually we'll get to talking about something specific. But on the last episode we didn't get, we got 3 comments, all of which were first, second, and third. So hopefully, so a little more substantive conversation will come about in the comments section. Just leave any questions you have for us, anything you want us to talk about in particular, in the comments down below. I want to say it right at the beginning so that don't have people waiting forever, maybe tune out, whatever. Let us know what you want us to talk about, what you'd like to hear from us. But because of that, I want to launch right into the news sandwich. Start and end with something good, what's going on in the week in our personal lives and throughout the world. What the fuck is going on? And I have a lot of things, and Caleb only has a couple things. We were kind of unsure how many things we wanted, so he wound up with a few good things. I wound up with a bunch of shit. So Well, let's start with you, Caleb. Let's start with something good. What is the good of your news sandwich?
The good of my news sandwich is Bethesda and Amazon have come to an agreement, and the creators of Westworld are now writing a Fallout show that will premiere on Amazon Prime.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw the announcement. I haven't seen. I don't know if there's a trailer or anything, but fuck, man. Ever since the success of
There's just
Witcher,
a standby trailer
oh yeah,
that
well,
I've seen.
that's befitting. That's befitting. But fuck, man. I heard that it's based in the world of Fallout. It's not like following any of the Fallout stories, which honestly I think is good.
Yeah,
Because, I mean, I did Let's Plays of
You
Fallout
got-
where basically I was just watching the game. And I gotta tell you, the game is meant to be played, but the world can be experienced through a different medium, through a different form of storytelling. So I'm excited for that.
oh yeah, and there's a shitload of other places to wander about. And I believe there's only, I believe they've only been to like 4 real regions of the entire U.S. and they
Yeah.
don't even have to stick to the U.S.
Yeah, true. You can... it was a world war, for fuck's sake. I mean, I can only imagine what the fuck they're gonna do, and I hope to fuck that it lives up to even a fraction of the expectations people have, because ever since Witcher did so well, and the Castlevania anime has gotten very popular, a lot of people are kind of skeptical. Like, Netflix is apparently doing a Legend of Zelda thing. We seem to be on a string of, now that, what was it, Uwe Boll, the fucking asshole who made a bunch of shitty video game movies.
Oh, yeah.
Now that he's not involved with this stuff,
Yep.
we seem to be on a string of good video game movies and shows, and I really want it to continue.
It's just you got to be careful what you pick, because
Yeah.
as one writer commented on Uwe Boll, he keeps choosing it for tax breaks. That would
Yeah.
probably be the main point. But he keeps choosing games with linear stories.
Yeah. Like, how the fuck are you supposed to
Can't
make
you-
a Mario movie? Like, the story is, like, not even a thing in a Mario game.
So you kind of just have to choose either open-ended or ones where you don't have to focus on what the player plays.
Yeah. But you can't go too far with that, because, in my opinion, probably the best series of sandbox games is Grand Theft Auto. And for the life of me, I can't imagine ever having a Grand Theft Auto movie or show. I don't know how they would do it, because the bulk of the fun of Grand Theft Auto is doing the crimes, doing the fun, insane shit that game lets you do. The story itself is fine in its own right, but like the cutscenes, I have heard so many people go gaga over Grand Theft Auto, a bunch of different ones, but no one's favorite part was the story. Everyone's favorite part was fucking around. At least that's my experience. I don't know about you.
The only one I could vaguely argue would be San Andreas. Technically, San Andreas is in 5.
True,
But
yeah.
people still say that San Andreas is their favorite.
Oh yeah. I mean, San Andreas,
But
it was a great fucking game. I think a lot of it had to do with that mod to let you see people fuck, but I mean, it was on the best PlayStation. It was on the best console at the time, and certainly the most popular at the time. And it was a lot of people's childhoods. So I mean, there's no way that thing's getting out of people's nostalgia goggles.
very, very true. But I think you're right. Like, Grand Theft Auto would really just boil down to a gritty crime drama.
Yeah, and that's the thing that separates Grand Theft Auto as a franchise from just regular gritty crime dramas is the weird shit, the comedy, And the fact that you get to play it and you can go on the stories if you want, or you can fucking blow people up and run people over and go fucking ape shit as long as you want. The story is there. The story is a through line. The story is important, but the story is not essential. And I think that's something you can't say for a game like Witcher, for example. Another fantastic game that you can basically take at your own pace at times, but you can't ignore the story in Witcher.
Yeah, because it's always vaguely there.
Yeah, and even
someone
go ahead.
making a comment about it or something in the background is telling you, hey, you forgot to do this.
Yeah, and it's kind of same for Fallout, because like it'll point you in a direction. You don't have to go in that direction. You can go and find incredible stuff wherever you want, but everyone is affected by the thing that is the story. It's a universally experienced thing. There's no one, I mean there is, but there's by and large you're not going to find too many people who are like, "What nuclear war?" Like
Yeah. What do you mean Caesar's Legion is invading? I haven't seen them.
Caesar's Legion? Is that a salad company? Like, no, like you're not getting that. So Fallout is open world, but it is an immersive world. Whereas Grand Theft Auto, it's not about immersion as much as they focus on like recreating Los Angeles and recreating whatever area they're in, even down to the minutest of details at times. It's not about making you feel like you're there. It's about making you feel like you're having freedom to have fun. Like, that's all it is.
Mm-hmm.
So what is the bad of your what is a bad of your news sandwich?
This came out about a week ago, so I felt it was important because not everyone follows these sorts of things.
Mm-hmm.
The numbers I found, which varied, but I'll go with the highest because drama. Multiple Super Smash Bros. Pro players have been accused of sexual misconduct.
Yep.
The three that seem to be more or less confirmed and in now police allegations are Cinepie is accused of sex minor. D-Ron or D1 is accused of rape, and Turo is accused of sex with a minor.
God damn.
And it has caused a lot of upheaval, and a few of the other pros have just admitted they're not going to be a part of the community anymore because of thus my message on one being very super heavy.
Yeah, it is, and you know,
things.
Befitting that we're talking about this when the rain finally starts to kick in up here. That it's a weird thing because obviously, if these people are proven to have done these things, they deserve to have they deserve to be boiled alive and have their fat sold for soap. Like, these are despicable acts that, if they were committed, absolutely just fuck these people. But it does say something. I just kind of thought about this. Like, Smash Bros. Is a game that I think only once has ever gotten like a T rating, and I think that was just because like Zero Suit Samus. Ooh. But like, it's a game mainly for kids. It's not really just targeted at kids. It's targeted for, E for everyone, or E10, or whatever the fuck the rating is. But the point is, it is a game. Even Ultimate, especially the latest one, is tailored so that basically anyone of any skill level can do whatever they want with it. And so you've got these big figures, these big important figures in a community that inherently has children involved. And there's no regulation, there's no background check, there's no accountability. These people don't have management teams or agencies or anything like that. And even people who are in those things commit terrible shit. It's just some fucking person who knows how to goddamn dodge and ledge grab at the right time. And they're getting buco bucks to play essentially a kid's game. And lo and behold, you attract people who want to be around kids a little too goddamn much. Now, I don't know if this is inherent to do with the fact that it is people playing a kid's game for profit, or the fact that there is something about, idolization of internet personalities and people who have a similar interest to you. So obviously they're amazing, and you're dealing with kids, so they have by and large, not all, but have a misinformed view of how the world works. I remember fucking being a kid and getting mad that I sent one of my favorite YouTubers at the time a piece of fan mail and they didn't read it on the air. How dare you? Like, really? This is a grown adult that I was talking to via Twitter and thinking that they gave a fuck about me because I sent them a fucking letter. Like, there's a weird sense of entitlement in that regard for audience members. And where there are popular people feeding on an audience of children, there are people who are feeding on that kind of attention. Lo and behold, you're going to get people who should not be having that kind of attention. Now, I'm not saying that like people shouldn't fucking be pros at games played by kids, or that all kids need to be quarantined away from any adult who ever plays anything that they like. That's not what I'm getting at here. But it is an unfortunately obvious thing that where there are groups of kids idolizing individuals, you will get people who take advantage of that idolization. And it's absolutely despicable, and I have no fucking solution there other than mandatory parental supervision, which only can go so far before it becomes harmful in a different way. Ooh, big thunderclap right there.
Exactly, and to your point on that, I found one thing where it was talking about 80 people were shoved into 4 different houses because they had no place to stay during these tournaments, all ranging from the ages of 13 to 30.
What the fuck? That's fucked
People
up.
gotta come in from out of town, and some people can't afford places to stay, and
that
is also just a hotbed of where, like, oh yeah, the 21 plus people are drinking, and then there's kids around, and they just don't care as an adult once you had a few, or some kids just sneak shit, and I wholeheartedly agree. There just needs to be more parental supervision on, especially if you're sending your kid out of state to do something like that.
Yeah, and who the fuck sends their kid by themselves out of state to be in a group? Like, seriously? Who the fuck? Like, I get it. Your kid might seem mature, but it's still a kid who can be taken advantage of. Why would you send them away? You're 13. It's not like they're an 18-year-old going off to college, and they're still going to make mistakes, but at least they're old enough and have enough resources around them to be able to take care of themselves. This is a 13-year-old being shoved into a house with a bunch of fucking strangers by themselves? Are you fucking kidding me?
Not just strangers. Strangers they quote-unquote know from the internet.
Which basically means nothing. And no, it's worse than nothing. It means they know what that person wants them to know. Because that's all that what internet interaction is.
Because it's basically, I don't know anything about you, but I now have a common trust in you.
Yeah, baseless, but it feels real when you're young and don't know any better. Which, by the way, is not an inherently linked thing. There are adults that are more naive than 9-year-olds. So I'm not saying all kids are dumb here, but fuck, man. There's something to be said about an organization that would allow that kind of blatant disregard for the safety of children.
That was my bad news.
Yeah.
Given everything is still in the air and being investigated, it's not a huge articles.
Yeah, literally, as far as I'm like, if those three people did not do those things, the fact that that 80 people in 4 houses thing still happened, no, that's still bad. Not as bad as fucking rape, but it's still like never happened again, or else legal action.
Hotbed of bad things happening, and just uncomfortable situations too.
Yeah.
Because I can't imagine it was less than 3 people to a room.
Yeah, because I mean, shit. I remember that when I was living up there, and we would fit like 5, sometimes more people in your basement. It was fucking cramped. And you have a house with 3 bedrooms, a basement, a spacious living room. You have a good fucking house. I like your house. But
well, thank you.
Man, I remember at one point you had Kyle staying with you, and Dan was in the basement, and that's 3 people in a house with 3 bedrooms, and Dan was in the basement, and y'all still couldn't stand the sight of each other. Like, granted, you were mixing nitrogen and something that pisses off nitrogen by almost cutting off the power, but still.
And the cacophony of randos that would wander through my house.
Yeah. Oy. But either way, so do you have a good to end your sandwich with? I mean, you have a few things. I don't want to just say you're done here. Let's go to the good.
The last thing is from executive order and mandatory changes, government jobs are now prioritizing skill over certification.
I like that.
A diploma will mean less to someone who has actual skill in the field.
You know what? I like that. I mean, it kind of fucks people over that went to school a lot, but only kinda, because how do you test for that? Like, if it's a coding job, for example, and you've got 2 applicants, you got someone who's been practicing coding since they were a kid because that's what they were interested in, and then you have someone who went into it in college because they didn't know what they wanted to get a degree in, and so they thought, this will give me an easy job. What do you just give both of them, like, hey, code a fucking thing, and we'll see who does better in a 3-day period? Or I don't fucking know how you would do that, but
I think Google does something like that, actually. Where
yeah.
they give you tests.
Yeah, that fucking secret Google application thing. That's actually pretty cool. But yeah, I overall I think that's pretty good, because especially now that, you know, a high school diploma basically means nothing. Like a bachelor's degree now means what a high school diploma used to mean. But you didn't pay $100,000 fucking dollars for a high school diploma. Your parents might have, but you didn't. You know what? I would have to think more on it to see if I, consider all the angles. But at first hearing it, I think that's good.
And these are just federal jobs at the moment. It's not just...
It's not like fucking McDonald's or something.
All across the board.
Yeah.
But it can set a good precedent towards, like, I'll use my mom, for example. 20 years in telecommunications. No degree whatsoever. Her has been Microsoft and Deutsche have reached out to her to try to hire her, and their manager and their hiring HR says no because you don't have a diploma.
Yeah. And I deal with a similar thing because I mean, I've been editing videos, making videos since 2003 at least. But I don't have a degree in video production, so I wouldn't be able to use any of my material for that for an application unless they were like, "Well, what have you done? Do you have a demo reel or something like that?"
Mm.
But that would require them to get past my resume, which does not say bachelor's in video production. And when you got 1,000 applicants for a job, the resume is basically, you look at it, you glance, you see a couple things missing, fuck off, next applicant. It's so dehumanizing. So dehumanizing.
I very much understand. And a lot of the times schools don't teach you some of these things. Like, I talked to, when it existed, Sprint's HR, and a few of the HR companies I actually work for, and they were like, "Oh yeah, you have like 30 seconds of our attention when we read your email, resume, whatnot, and if we don't see something that makes us actually stop and read it, we don't care."
Yeah.
To move on.
Yeah, I mean, it's fucking ridiculous.
It has nothing to do with anyone or any shitty hiring practices. It's literally, you're just sitting there and you have 50,000 applications you got to go through.
Yeah, and you got like one, maybe two people dealing with it, and it's fucking ridiculous. Like, I fucking hate GameStop and everything it stands for, but like, we had one HR person for our entire district. One
God,
motherfucker.
Sucks.
Fucking dumb. So is that everything for your news sandwich?
Yep.
All right. Well, I got a little more meat on mine, but I do appreciate yours. I'm not trying to diminish yours. I have a lot of.
Sometimes you just want a grilled cheese sandwich.
Exactly.
Nice.
Exactly. So, let's go ahead and start with a good, like we always do. Kind of trivial, but it's something nice. Do you have BritBox, Caleb?
I think my mom does. And I leave everything else off my family. Literally, my entire thing is like, oh, I'm on my sister's, I'm on my brother's, I'm on my mom's.
Yeah.
I think I pay for Netflix. Everyone else uses my Netflix.
It's a streaming smorgasbord.
Yeah, it's the benefit of big families, man.
It's a potluck.
Everyone just buys one.
An entertainment potluck. Well, obviously, there's no sponsors, by the way. So if it sounds like I was about to launch into an ad, there could be. Wouldn't be opposed to it, but there isn't right now. For those who don't know what BritBox is, brief explanation, it's a streaming service for select programs from present and past BBC and ITV productions. It has classic Doctor Who as one of its main selling points, but another show that actually features one of the doctors from the revived series, Peter Capaldi, it's a show called The Thick of It. And my good here is a recommendation of that show, because it is fucking funny. It's a show about it's a politics show, which makes it think like, oh fuck, it's all stuffy and important. No, it's not. It's a show following a department that is trying to, one, figure out what the fuck it's supposed to be doing. Two, figure out how they're supposed to say anything because they're constantly being shit on by everyone around them. And Peter Capaldi, one of my favorite actors, he plays the spin guy, the guy who tries to make everything seem better than it is. And he's just this pissed off, angry Scotsman who every time someone says anything, he's like, "What the fuck are you doing, you fucking idiot?" And it's hilarious. And it has a lot of dry British humor, obviously. It's BritBox, for fuck's sake. But it's just a really funny watch. It's one of those shows you have to, like, pay attention to, because they'll say some funny shit, and then they'll, like, move on immediately. But yeah, Highly recommend that. It's one of my favorite shows, probably ever. The thick of it.
Which is saying a lot because he sat on MASH, I believe, for his favorite show ever for years.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God. MASH was my favorite show for so long. Now it's My Hero Academia, so I'm still fucking basic, but... But at least it's something from this century. Oh, fuck.
I try not to be a part of the toxic anime community anymore, but get on my level. Basic ass.
Oh, yeah. I know. My first bad for this news sandwich is the goddamn fireworks. I get it. It was July 4th, like a couple days ago. 4 days ago as of recording this. But starting like June 5th, entered every night. Every fucking night. Sometimes not even during the night. It wouldn't be nightfall. There would still be bright out. People firing off loud-ass fireworks. Not just like fizzlers, like none of that shit. I'm talking like M80s and fucking kaboom, ba-ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba fucking fireworks. It lasts from like 4 p.m. to like 4 a.m. And it was every night. And it still happens. Like, if it wasn't raining today, I'm pretty sure it'd still be happening. It was happening yesterday, still. It's been over a month. These motherfuckers. And that's just me. Like, I got PTSD. I have problems with sudden, loud, unexpected noises. Like pops, bangs, what have you. It freaks me the fuck out. And it freaks my dog out. So, it'll scare me. And then my dog will go nuts, which also scares me. Because a bark is inherently a sudden, loud noise. But... there's an added layer to the problems here because there have been reports, I should say, of police stations firing off fireworks near protest sites and near residential areas and selling fireworks to people to get them to fire them off early and at night. And also police ignoring people who are firing off fireworks outside of the legally allowed times. Reason being... it is a tactic to disorient and fuck with the protests. You know, you get these people, these police departments having fucking midnight parades with sirens and flashing lights through residential neighborhoods. And this is a long history. This is not just this protest. This has happened for basically as long as fireworks have existed.
Has been fucked for a long time.
Oh, yeah. Oh, fucking yeah. And, you know, the fucking protests have been around where I live. There was bad actors trying to ruin the protests by damaging shit. And I make sure to separate them because protesters does not equal rioters. But there have been rioters near my house. And basically ever since then... there have been fireworks every fucking night. And it's driving me fucking nuts. There have been so many times where I wanted to run outside and scream at people, try to find who's doing it. I haven't done that. I want to. But I don't want to make a bunch of fucking noise late at night. So... fuck these people. I get it. You have your Independence Day. It's a great fucking deal. You had some barbecue and now you want to make things go boom. But this is a neighborhood with a lot of dogs and a lot of older people and a lot of veterans. Irregardless of all of the fucking the fucking with protesters and all that stuff, which is heinous and wrong. In addition to all of that stuff, fireworks at all in this neighborhood fucks with people. And you selfish pricks who feel the need to turn one-day holidays into a month of torture for some people should be fucking castrated in front of your kids. I fucking hate these people, and now that this is the sign that I need to go to a good. This is the moment where I either need to let you talk or move to the other side of the news sandwich because I'm wishing violence on people.
got a little too heated there, my friend.
I don't know if
And
it was too heated, but it definitely was heated.
I'm gonna say if you're like, I might need to move on, but yeah, for very much depending on where you are. Like if I go into, I probably shouldn't say which cities are around me. If I go into the next city over, they're still doing shit like that. But
Yeah.
mainly because they canceled all of the major fireworks shows, so now there's just a shitload of cheap
Oh
fireworks.
yeah. Oh my god. Fucking the Walmart near here, like they had fireworks for sale in April. And
Oh yeah, they knew. They were like, we're screwed. We gotta get rid of these.
and the thing is, they were always fully stocked, but never with the same ones. So you know they had like a billion ones in the back, and then they were filling them up every night.
But thankfully, I live in a very, uh, my police will ignore things, but they don't ignore random shit.
Yeah.
Like, the entire town knows about it. We have a bordello in town. Did the police do anything about it? No.
What is
But
a
everyone knows.
bordello?
It is a whorehouse.
Oh, I didn't know about. I used to live next to you. You didn't tell me. You have a fucking board. Where is that?
You know those sketchy massage parlors?
No.
Yeah.
We used to drive by those every day.
I still do.
Damn it, I knew something looked off about those places, but I didn't say anything. You motherfucker. You kept me from performing illegal activities. How dare you?
But yeah, literally the people who own the businesses directly next to it came out and were like, "Yeah, this is happening," and the police were like, "Yeah,
Well, like
okay."
the house right across from yours is like an immigration
Oh yeah,
rinse
it
and
was.
wash house.
Yep, and the not anymore.
Oh.
It ended when the neighbors had their brother-in-law who works for immigration. He walked down the street wearing his ice jacket, and mystically, magically, the house got sold.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Jesus Christ.
because and to those who are thinking we're no, like I tried to be good neighbors. I'd go out like apple pie and everything, fresh apple pie.
Oh yeah.
Hello, introduced. They ran their asses right inside, closed the door, and we'd stay up late doing D&D and shit like that. And there'd be a white van that would change out the family that lived there,
Mm-hmm. I remember.
and
I remember.
the ice making the house go on sale was just the cherry on the
Oh, yeah.
on that cake.
I remember one time leaving leaving D&D late one night, and I even texted you. I was like, "There's a car on your street that pulled up. Two guys got out and ran into someone's backyard. The doors were open, so maybe lock your doors." But here's the thing, like, if I recall correctly, that house that was funneling illegal immigrants throughout the place, they never fucked with you.
No,
Yeah, because they weren't there to do anything bad. They were there just there trying to live.
the the dudes who came in and out, they do weird shit to the neighbors, but the people staying there would generally just run away as soon as you walked outside.
Lo and behold, the people exploiting illegal immigrants are fucked up, but the immigrants themselves are not bad people.
Yep.
So let's go to a good thing here. Another recommendation. This one for a song that I've had in my head for a week. It is by a YouTube channel called The Stupendium. It is called The Fine Print. I sent it to you, Caleb. It is a song about the outer world. the video game The Outer Worlds, made by Obsidian, the same people behind Fallout New Vegas, what many people consider to be the best Fallout game out of the entire series.
I'm going to add an asterisk to that.
Mm-hmm.
The people behind New Vegas do not work at Obsidian anymore.
Okay, so
They
it is the
quit
company that did it, but not
immediately.
the same people.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, so
Because
that
they had to make a new game within a year, and Obsidian did not treat them terribly well.
oof. Okay, so less hype about that, but the song is good. Has
Still
nothing
a
to
fun game. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I heard a lot of people excited for it, and then when it came out, no one seemed to give a fuck anymore.
Yeah.
Like, no one was saying it was bad, but no one talked about it, and it's still $60. So, like, what the fuck?
If you've ever played New Vegas, the weird missions, it's just that made into a space game.
Oh.
Everything. And don't do the companion missions. They're boring as fuck, and they get you nothing.
Well, the song, at the very least, is a very interesting song. I have never played The Outer Worlds. I don't know anything about it. All I know is that the song paints a really interesting picture. Yeah, you got it. It's a really... it tells a whole story. I know it sounds stupid to say it. The song tells a story. But no, like, it feels like you've been sat through an entire fucking show, like a movie almost, in just like 4 minutes of a song. Just because it's that fucking involved, and it shows that much of the world and how it works, and it's fucking nuts. It's a great song, very catchy. It's designed to be, because quite frankly a lot of it is kind of repetitive, but a lot of modern songs are. But yeah, I very much enjoy it. I've been working on memorizing it for no particular reason. I just really like it.
Oh yeah, it does really capture the feeling of the world and the gameplay.
Yeah, it's like a space Soylent Green type of thing.
Mm-hmm. I'm sorry. There's actually a reference to Soylent Green in The Outer Worlds.
Oh, of course. I mean, that's the thing, is like, we're in 2020 referencing Soylent Green. Well, it's not just us.
Yeah.
They're people. Fucking hell, so dramatic.
If you want he does a song about We Happy Few that's a little less repetitive, that I feel is way up your alley as well.
It's about what?
It's about We Happy Few.
Oh, I don't know a damn thing about that game. So yeah, go ahead and send it to me sometime, or I'll fucking look it up. I remember working at GameStop and looking at it and being like, this looks interesting, but...
Oh, it's a fun game, but it goes on way too fucking long.
That's an interesting complaint.
It's you know, all of the because you worked at GameStop at the time, you saw a lot of the promotional material. Yeah. Followed one dude. When you finish his story, it keeps going. You get put in the shoes of a different character. And you rinse and repeat, escaping.
Jesus.
And then you get to do that again. And then the game actually ends.
It's kind of a Ghosts and Goblins kind of thing. Is it Ghosts and Goblins? Ghouls and Goblins? I don't remember. Do you know that game that I'm talking about?
Yeah, it's Ghosts and Goblins.
Yeah, where you fucking go through, it's hard as fuck, but you finally get to the end, and they're like, fuck you, do it again, but harder.
This was only an illusion. Fuck you.
That was such shit. And that's on NES. Was it NES?
Yeah. With no saves. Yeah. All one ungo.
Yeah, they didn't have passwords on that game, I don't think.
No. You had to defeat it all in one sitting.
Motherfucker. I remember trying to do that with my Pokemon Green. Not Leaf Green. Green. It was in Japanese, and the save feature didn't work because the battery was dead. And so I would try to play as much of Pokemon Green, which I couldn't read a bit of Japanese at that point. Just trying to go from memory of what I remember from Pokemon Yellow. and the farthest I ever got was I think Mount Moon. And yeah, I always got interrupted. Someone was like, "Hey, you gotta take out the trash, or you gotta mow the dishes, or you gotta wash the lawn." You know, some stupid shit. I never was listening that much.
That's still pretty decently far for
It is. It
one
is.
sitting when you have no idea what they're saying.
Yeah. And I never did bad. It was just hard. But anyway, going back to the negatives, since the rain seems to have stopped, in the wrestling industry, there has been a hashtag.
Oh no. Don't know. What do you want me to say? There's hashtags about everything.
The hashtag in particular is hashtag speaking out. And it is essentially the wrestling industry's version of Me Too. Because years after Me Too happened, wrestling finally realized that it was 2020, and a lot of people got exposed as... and there's been like over 100 allegations, but there's been a set number of people either responding to it, admitting to it, there being evidence enough for people to get fired for about a few dozen. So there's a lot for a lot of different names, but the notable ones have been people like Joey Ryan or Sammy Callahan, or not Sammy Callahan, Sammy Guevara. These are people you don't fucking know, Caleb, and most people probably watching this probably don't know wrestling, but if you do, WWE fired Jack Gallagher and a few people from NXT UK, and there's been people in major promotions, small promotions, wrestlers, backstage people, promoters, a bunch of people, all at once, who got exposed because people finally were standing with people who had who were victims and had stuff to tell about people in power. And wrestling has always been kind of steeped in this mindset of it's a man's world, and you don't fuck with people in power, and you're never going to get rid of bad actors. They'll just get moved to a different company, kind of like the police. But finally, it really seemed like some people were actually fucking taken away from their positions in power, and who were actually brought down to justice for it. And there have been convictions, there have been firings, and the reason this is in the negative is just because, not because it's a bad movement or anything, but because it's sad when you're a fan of wrestling to know that through your enjoyment, people who were abusers were empowered to do terrible things to innocent people. And that, that's kind of just a thing in general. Like, if people knew all of the inner workings of every video game company they ever fucking played games of, they probably would, not everyone, but a lot of people would probably feel less comfortable playing those games because of how they treat their employees, how they treat people in general. But with wrestling, you're watching a person portraying a person that looks exactly like them, doing something that is looking like a sport but isn't.
Soap opera with more punching.
Yeah, it's a very direct thing because wrestling is very much about talking to the audience, making the audience feel like they're a part of things. And so it was really hard to be a wrestling fan, to feel like you're a part of an industry that enabled so much abuse. And there are more allegations coming out every day still, and it's just fucking heartbreaking, really. So yeah. What you gotta say about that, Caleb?
No matter who you smash, it seems something's happening.
Right.
That was a terrible pun, but it was there.
Yeah. You had this softball lobbed at you. You had to swing. I'm gonna go to.
Sad that this is finally getting aired out.
Yeah.
Because wrestling's been around since what, the 60s as professional, like aired.
Oh yeah, it was like one of the first things ever aired on TV. It wasn't the very first thing, because I think that was what, like a violin performance or some shit. But like,
yeah,
one of the first things that was put on TV was that. And wrestling, as it exists, fixed, that has existed for a long fucking time. It dates back to catch wrestling in the circus and yada fucking yada, and that's not even talking about Greco-Roman and blah blah blah. But as it is now, it's gone since, for a long fucking time. And there are countless examples of terrible people being given an immense platform and power to do terrible shit. I mean, the most powerful man in all of wrestling right now is Vince McMahon, who objectively is one of the worst motherfuckers probably alive right now. And he's a fucking billionaire. And he's still the CEO and head chairman of the fucking company, and he's... I could spend hours just listing the terrible shit he has done and continues to do.
And honestly, this is growing up corporate, he will be until he's no longer making money. It's how these people survived. They were profitable. If you do terrible shit and aren't profitable, you would have gotten your ass thrown out a long time ago.
Oh yeah, because it's a publicly traded company. The WWE is publicly traded, which means the sponsors and investors are co-signing on this shit. And it's got to be because they're making money. Because if it was about what's right or what's good or what's proper to do to people, they would have been out on their fucking ass, and WWE would have gone bankrupt years ago. But nope. Anyway, let's go to a good. You were never really heavily involved in the theater department, were you?
Not like you were, but I did help every once in a while.
Yeah. So
I was one of those dudes. They were like, "You vaguely know what you're doing. We need help."
Yeah. So in high school, the theater department had 3 teachers, and for the sake of what I'm about to say, I don't want to use names.
Name them.
Yeah. I don't imagine that this would be a legally problematic thing to say or do, but I'm not taking fucking chances, because I know the person I'm about to talk about is vindictive as fuck, because I'm about to talk about them being vindictive as fuck. So...
I know who you're talking about.
Yeah.
Out of the 3.
Yeah. She. I mean, that's the fucking hint between us. She. There were 2 guys and 1 woman, and the 2 guys had their problems, but she was the worst. I'm gonna call her a bitch. I don't fucking care. But anyway, no, she had her good moments, but when she had her bad moments, it was really bad. But she's not there anymore. She's not with the school anymore. She left to go to a different school, and I never knew why.
God have mercy.
What?
God have mercy on them.
Right. I didn't know why, but I found out why. Because I'm part of a group on Facebook for all the people who have been in ART, which in that school is Advanced Repertory Theater. It's a seniors-only audition-based class for basically the favorites of the theater.
These were the theater kids of the theater kids.
Yeah, these were the obnoxiously theater of the theater kids, and then a few people that they felt bad for, and that's basically what ART was. And ART as a program had been going on for a long fucking time, long before I got And while I was there, it was being taught by one of the guys and her. The guy, much younger, more popular, but he still had this air of like, get the fuck out of my face. Like, I'm not standing up for.
Didn't he teach football as well? Wasn't he the football coach too?
I believe so. Yeah.
Which is an odd combination.
Yeah, it is also considering our football team was ass, but
Yeah.
and not even a good ass, like a flat kind of rumply, always kind of smells weird ass. But there was two teachers there so that they could have a larger group of kids in the class. And I graduated. You and I graduated in 2013. Turns out, right after we graduated, the amount of people who auditioned for ART was less. And so the guy didn't want to artificially inflate the group because he thought it could be smaller. Now, if it was smaller, it'd only be one teacher. She did not want that to happen because she had been a part of it for a long time. She wanted to be involved. She likes having power over everything. But he refused, went through the school. The ART was reduced by like 3 people, and so it went down to 1 teacher, and it was the guy. So she was no longer part of ART. She was still in the theater department, but she was no longer at the top. And the reason I found out about this is because in that Facebook group that I am in, she's in it. He is not, which is interesting to me, but she is. And she recently has been posting a lot of pictures of past productions and groups, and it was actually pretty nice. Then she posted a document. This document detailed a long history of awards, productions, people involved, happenings in the... we went to Shawnee Mission North High School, I'll say that. The Shawnee Mission North theater department, which is one of its most lauded departments at the school. It's one of the highest ranked theater troupes in the entire state. Apparently, at one point, they got an accusation of being too inappropriate. Go ahead.
Which makes sense, because didn't we do Rent one year we were there?
They did Rent, they did Urinetown, they did Sweeney Todd, they did Hairspray.
So this wasn't a surprise.
No. That was a firework. Fucking fireworks. It literally was just raining, and I told you it wasn't happening because of the rain, and the rain went away and fucking fireworks went off. I swear to fuck. Anyway, and it's not dark out! Anyway, she had compiled this document and to be like an objective telling of history. And in that document, there was a running commentary wherein she said, I have it saved on my phone. She wound up fucking deleting it because I took screen caps of some of my favorite bits of her running commentary. And
you always should.
Oh, yeah. And I posted them as comments like, this is an interesting document. Here are and this running commentary is piping hot tea. Here are some of my favorites. She responded and then immediately deleted the post. So I couldn't see what she said, but I wasn't kicked out of the group, so everything seems to be fine there. Excuse me. So without saying any names, like I said, this is one of her quotes. She was cut out of ART by Mr. the guy who felt the troupe could be smaller since not as many kids had auditioned, and he refused to recruit 3 more students to maintain the number of students required for 2 classes. Since Miss She gave her training to be the international I don't fucking know what that word is. Baccalaureate, I don't know. teacher to Mr. Guy, and there was one IB student in the class. Then Mr. Guy took the class from Miss She. It was the most hurtful thing that had ever happened to her. Since then, there's only been one ART class. End quote.
Sounds more like you got butt hurt because you got shifted out.
Yeah, and this is a document that she shared with the district. So this is an official school document. She also mentioned in a different one about the same issue. In 2013, Mr. Guy performed a coup and took over ART, reducing the troop size to one class. 2 years later, Miss She retired and moved to a different school. End quote. A coup, Caleb. Can you believe it? A coup was performed.
Violent military.
Right up there with Saddam Hussein taking over. It was a coup, goddammit. The Arab Spring was nothing compared to the coup of Mr. Guy. I can't fucking believe it.
And I understand what the hell he meant. Like, ART is not something that works if you have to force people into it.
Right?
Could you imagine 3 people in your class being like, yeah, I'm just here because they needed the numbers?
Yeah. I'm pretty sure that's why I got in the first place. Because I auditioned, like, on the last day, and I hadn't thought of anything good. You had to audition with, like, an original piece of something. And so I came in and auditioned with a lame fucking piece where I pretended to... Go ahead.
A reading from The Exorcist 2.
No, that wasn't my... That wasn't my audition. I did do that, but only I did that as part of, I think, a different class or maybe later on. My audition piece was me pretending that I thought it was a choir audition, and then singing like what the fuck is that song? It's some fucking patriotic bullshit, but it's the song they always use for musical auditions and choir auditions. And so it was fitting. They knew the song. And then I pretended to come up with, on the spot, replacement words to try to get me to sound good for it, but I was still singing the song. It was stupid. It wasn't good, but I got in and routinely was never fucking used. They only used me once or twice because there was not enough room for their favorites to do everything they wanted to do. So I was treated like shit, but whatever. I only worked my ass off for this fucking group. I was the only one that could do any kind of proper video editing, and so I wound up editing and filming everyone's fucking video skits. Except for like 1 or 2, and
your hardest.
Yeah.
You get on the team, and then they inform you're the equipment manager.
Right. So yeah, it was just really fucking funny that by holding up a mirror to what this fucking teacher said. That I got her to delete the post and fucking run away. It was just funny. Because she was a fucking tyrant in the theater department. She was rough.
Oh yeah, a lot of the teachers there, when we were there, really didn't like hearing what they said.
Yeah.
Throw it back at them.
Oh man.
What's it called? Cognitive dissonance.
Yeah. I'm still upset that Porn Day got that guy fired. Did you hear about that?
Oh, yeah!
It was our government teacher who had a whole day dedicated to the law of adult content. And apparently he made a joke of
Not
some
even
kind
a
of...
good joke.
Yeah, wasn't even a good joke. And he had on his desk, a lot of people would write things that this teacher said that they thought were funny. They'd write it down and they'd tape it to his desk. And that joke got written down and taped to the desk. And one student complained, and someone saw that quote out of context, and he was fucking fired on the spot.
And a lot of the other quotes were from students who said,
Yeah.
rando, out of context. Like, I remember I went in there and it said, what was it? Coat hangers aren't just for coats anymore.
Yeah, like some really bad shit. But yeah, he seems to be doing fine for himself. He has his own company. He has a couple of companies, for fuck's sake. So he's fine. But yeah, so that was one of my goods. Now moving on to a negative. I injured myself this past week.
Yeah, I saw the tweet.
Yeah, I won't go into a lot of detail because, especially on this channel, I have rambled about it for long enough. I have a back injury that has not been able to be treated because I'm too fat and poor for it. It's a herniated disc, and it herniates onto a nerve in my spine that makes my entire lower body explode with pain. So my bad days are paralyzing, and they can happen anytime. But I also can make them bad days if I go too hard. And the definition of too hard includes mowing the fucking lawn. Something that should not be that fucking hard is something I cannot physically do anymore. I mowed the entire yard. Originally, I wasn't going to mow the entire yard. The original idea was I would do the front half, Bri would do the back half, but I wanted to be nice, and while she was sleeping, I figured she'll wake up to a whole yard mowed, and it'd be nice, and she wouldn't have to bother with it. I was wanting to do something nice for her. She didn't ask me to do it. She didn't force me to do it. It had nothing to do with her. I took it upon myself to mow the front yard, and I already knew my back was going to be fucked. It was already fucked by the time I did what I was already supposed to do. But then I kept going because, as you know well enough, when it comes to abusing myself, I am second to a few, but still pretty bad. Be it verbally or physically, when it comes to an opportunity to make me feel bad in any way, I seem to not be able to stop. So I continued to mow to the point where my ankles felt like they were going to fall off. My back was in so much pain I couldn't fucking breathe properly. I had a headache the size of Mount Everest. And I couldn't talk. I went and took a shower afterwards. And then laid down. And I could not move for hours. And for the next few days, almost a week, I had so much pain. I couldn't sit, stand, walk, or crawl, lay down without being in pain. Now, it has subsided to enough of a degree that I am sitting in my chair in the office. I'm okay. But my back is a little bit like like a corded headphone, you know, where like one of the strands on the inside is kind of fucked, and so you have to hold it a certain way to get the sound in both ears.
Yeah. Where you're like, can I tape this? Will that work?
Yeah, because now I'll be laying down, and my legs will be in a certain position, my back will be in a certain position, and it'll be like, oh, I lay this way, my right hip hurts. So I move my leg down, my hip is fine, but now my knee on the other side hurts. So I move the other leg, and now my right ankle hurts. And then, like, I move, and the pain moves. That's how you know that it's a nerve problem, because it's not a problem with any of the individual things. It's pain receptors being fucked with. So, yeah, that's where I'm at. And no, I can't get it operated on. No, I can't get any treatment for it. I'm on a diet. I'm doing my best. But I'm still too fat and poor for basic fucking comfort. So, that has sucked ass.
And celery, all we get. Because I know what you mean. I know how you feel. Don't have herniated discs, but there's definitely moments where I can't do shit.
Yeah.
It's just a warning, people. Take care of yourself.
Yeah. Like, if you're young enough to still have PE, don't take that shit for granted.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Because one of these days you might learn, I can't bend over without groaning.
Yeah.
And we're in our mid-20s.
Yeah, we're 25 for fuck's sake. Like, are you still 25?
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
I will be 26 in a few months.
Oh, nice. Fuck. It's so fuck. Anyway, so yeah, that's been probably one of the biggest negatives for this past week for me. But let's go to a positive, shall we? Are you having fun?
Oh, yeah.
I'm
Why wouldn't
glad.
I be having fun?
Well, I don't know, because I'm basically ranting at you for an hour. Well, this is a very all of the above thing, not in the definition of the show title, but in the phrase, because there's so many different things being talked about here.
And that's always what we tried to do, because it was always kind of boring to listen to those other shows where they'd just be like, one topic all the time.
Yeah. Two people who agree on something for 5 hours. Like, no!
What's the point?
Exactly. So my next positive thing, going again back to high school here, the Shawnee Mission North mascot is the Indian. All right, so already this is a political thing. There's been
Because one can assume we were a mission, an Indian mission, thus the Shawnee Mission.
Yeah, the Shawnee Mission, and for those who don't know, the Shawnee Mission was basically, to sum it up, white Christians telling Indian people, give us your kids and we'll turn them into white people, otherwise we'll kill you. And
Not
that's
entirely true, but you can sum it up that way.
Yeah, it's not wrong, but it's not all the way there. But that has resulted in the name of not only the city you live in, but the city I live in, a bunch of different cities around where we live, and the school district's name. So the mascot is the Indian. And there have been off and on various attempts
the Indian and his squaws, I think.
Yeah.
Was when we were in school.
Yeah. There have been a number of petitions over the years to get our high school mascot changed. But this year, it is really ramped up. And it has really gotten pretty big. You know, alums of all ages are joining in on this. Bri is fucking being a clown next to me. So I'm a little distracted. I'm sorry. Fuck are you even doing it?
The fucking game.
Okay, but why are you in here?
Spoons.
Use a knife.
There's no knife.
There is in the kitchen, you fucking... Jesus Christ. You gotta make everything hard. Anyway. So, there have been petitions for many years to try to get the mascot changed. And, for the record, I agree with that. I disagree with the use of the word Indian to describe Native Americans, because that literally is taking a culture and substituting the name of a different culture on top of it because we didn't want to know what they were called. Like, we didn't give a shit. I agree with getting it changed, and the petition this time around is a lot bigger than ever. And because of that, they have a Facebook group. They've organized. They've been emailing administration. Administration right now is like, dude, we're worried about the COVID thing. Like, when school starts, once we figure out how or what the fuck that's gonna be, we'll look into it. But Jesus, like, now is not the time. That's basically been their response so far. But one person decided to get on that page and start going off about how, well, Indian isn't a term of bad. It's not a negative thing. And this is just a bunch of white people trying to feel good about themselves. And then they tried to argue that it was basically the same as black people using the N-word because Native Americans aren't that opposed to the word Indian because blah, 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 blah. And yeah, that person got blocked like immediately. But it took them saying the N-word themselves for them to finally get kicked, which, in my opinion, was more space than this person deserved. It's fucking ridiculous. And as soon as they got kicked, they ranted like, this cultural appropriation crowd, PG culture, fucking blah. And I really had the urge to like screen cap that and put it out, be like, hey, look at this racist motherfucker from my high school. Wonder where he works. Let's ruin his life. But no, I couldn't spearhead that kind of thing. I'm still conflicted about the idea of, you know, people who are not celebrities or public figures having their shit put on blast for, you know, obviously shit they're doing that's wrong, but like, these people still deserve to survive. Like, the cancel culture only doesn't really matter to people who have millions and millions of dollars and will always have supporters no matter what. But like this dude, he doesn't have that. So if his shit was put on blast, like, he could be irrevocably fucked. But the urge was there to be like, hey, this guy, fuck him. Just fuck him in all these different ways. But no, I couldn't do that. That's why I'm not saying his name here. But the reason this isn't a good is because he got fucking served a kicking out of by a group that had enough of his shit, and it was just fun to see a guy doing racist shit being kicked out. Like, that was just nice. Now, this is your high school, too, so what do you think about all this?
Honestly, I don't really care. The mascot should be made more tasteful, honestly. But the name, I don't think is a thing to change, because all it honestly is saying is this is what it was, because that's what its name was Indian Mission. Whether that's true or not, or, you know, it is true, but whether it wasn't specifically towards one group, Natives, Americans. Fan of cancel culture, never have been, never will. It's honestly a lot of people who are probably, more than likely, very powerless, and they're just doing it to feel powerful, even though the whole point of our society is you can say shit like that. It happens. People are terrible, terrible people. All of them.
Yeah, you have the right to say stuff,
but... If you think you're good, or lie. Yourself and everyone around you.
Yeah, you have the right to say stuff, but you don't have a right to be exempt from consequences.
And you don't have the right to ruin people's lives for saying shit. It's a magical thing.
Did you say you kind of cut out? Did you say you don't have the right to ruin people's lives?
Yes. Well, should people be held accountable? Yeah. Should you who constantly harass places of business, people who don't really need to know about these things, yes, as you shouldn't.
I mean, you have the right to do it. If it's not a criminal activity like defamation or something. Does this have to happen right now? I'm doing something, man. Not you. Bree is taking this exact opportunity to stand outside my fucking door and be incredibly distracting and noisy when she doesn't need to be. So, in the words of the great Albert Schweitzer, fuck off. No, motherfucker! Jesus Christ! I'm asking something very reasonable here, and you're being a cunt. You can tell we get along famously. She's smiling and laughing. Everyone, don't get to fucking bunches in a bunch.
Fully pooped, alright? He gets his training treats.
Fantastic. He gets one. Now fuck off.
You fuck off.
I am trying to, and you're being here.
Rude.
Yes, you are. God damn. Can I just have one thing? Just a little fucking time?
No.
Christ. Anyway, and I'm leaving all that in because I don't. That's how we talk to each other. It might make me look bad. I don't know. I don't give a shit. But anyway, when you're talking about ruining people's lives, for example.
Because at the end of the day, this is just lynch mob tech mentality.
Yeah, but no one's getting
really
hung.
Yes, no one's getting hung, but they can't find jobs. They get kicked out of schools that they worked hard to. They lose opportunities because at the end of the day, someone said something like.
Well, that's the thing, is when it's someone small
Where does
time.
that stop?
Well,
is the
snowball arguments. I don't put too much stock in a snowball argument because we both took debate.
I do. Look at Twitter. That is point and mate. Check and mate on snowball arguments.
I disagree, Mr. Chessman. Now, if I was trying to, what I was trying to say, we both took debate. We both know the snowball argument is a tactic to make your argument sound bigger than it really is by saying, well, this will lead to that and lead to that and lead to that, and none of that shit's happened and none of it's likely. When it comes to small people who are not public figures, I'm conflicted about it. Because if you get, let's say, that guy on the Facebook group, he said some racist shit. And I was tempted, but I did not. And I don't think right now that it would have been right to make it a publicly known thing. Because at that point, that is an individual with no safety net. That is an individual who is unable to weather that kind of storm. If somehow my post had caught traction and it had been picked up, he could have lost his job, been denied jobs, all the things you said. It could have happened to that guy. Now, when it comes to public figures, celebrities, stuff like that, say right now, one of the things on my negatives, I won't mention that because I want to get to that as part of one of my negatives, but say you get a public figure, very well known, they say and do some heinous shit. It's not criminal, but it's racist. It's discriminatory. It's dehumanizing. It is bad shit that deserves to have a public backlash. Because they're a public figure, they get consequences. This results in people not buying their books, calling them racist, yada yada. Now they might lose out on some money in sales. You know, maybe they can't sell a book, a movie, what have you. Might not get roles if they're an actor. But these are people that, in the public eye, shit will move on for them. There are much fewer examples of public figures who got canceled and were gone forever than there are people in the public eye who got canceled and then just popped up with a different group of people that were now putting them on a pedestal because they agree with their shit. Literally, it just, you lose some fans more, and instead of appearing on all the channels, now you're on Fox News or you're on CNN exclusively, but these people are still bolstering you up because everyone has different opinions, and when you express one, you're gonna lose some people and you gain some others. So when it comes to big public figures, I don't think cancel culture is a problem at fucking all. But when it comes to like small individuals, like that guy on Facebook or anything like that, those people I'm more hesitant to say deserve any kind of public backlash, because yeah, that's some bad shit. But like reporting an individual act to an individual's I almost said owner, Jesus Christ, employer. Like when I was working for a company, I post some racist shit on my YouTube channel, and someone takes that, so sends the link to my manager. I get fired. I think that's fine, but that's not everyone in the news fucking mob mentality stuff, because that shit will affect for other employers who Google you or do background searches and find this person fired for allegedly. They don't even read the allegedly. They just see person fired for blank space something bad. And that can be incredibly damaging. And it doesn't matter whether or not it actually happened. The effect basically remains the same and only gets worse if you actually did it. It's still bad. So that's kind of where I'm right now on cancel culture. If you're a millionaire, you're always going to be fine, basically. But if you're like Joe Schmo, not a public figure, then yeah, that shit can be extremely damaging for a long period of time. I promise I'm done now.
Okay. Sorry, folks. I've known him for a while, so I stay quiet for a few seconds.
Yeah, he knows when to be quiet. You at least see what I mean.
Yeah, I get what you mean. But I do not agree with putting people on blast. If you wanted to fucking screen cap that and send it to someone and, like, his daddy, by yourself, that's fine. That's you. You do you. But trying to gather up the fucking mob is where I draw the line.
That's fair. See, important thing happening here, folks. We don't agree, but we're still fine.
I'm still his friend.
Yeah.
It's something magical.
Yeah, like, oh my god. And I know if someone accuses me of some heinous shit that isn't true, I know at least I'll have one person who believes me.
Yeah.
The
only real way I wouldn't believe this man is if they were like, I have him on video. Like,
yeah. Well, even then, now with deep fakes, that's some scary
like,
shit.
I know that bastard. He can't do that.
Yeah.
I know what his back and knees are like.
He can't even mow the lawn. How in the hell is he climbing a mountain to stab somebody? Like, no. He can't bend over backwards to blow 5 dudes as much as he might want to try. So now on that one, we got a negative to go to.
I'm glad we got that that shown an example, because it's one thing to be like, yeah, we totally disagree, and then just be like, yep, yeah, totally, the entire time.
Oh yeah, and because that's the thing. Like, if it was a like life or death scenario where disagreement, that's the thing, is I do think there are things that there are, like, if you're on the other side of an argument, that is not only a disagreement from my point of view, but that's just wrong. Like transphobia or homophobia, or basically saying that these people don't deserve human rights because of their sexuality.
Uh-huh.
I don't see that as just a disagreement of opinion. I see that as you being wrong. But the thing is like, my response to that is, if I think your point of view is so bad that I cannot, that my point of view of you as a person has changed and is too bad, it is my duty to distance myself from you. I'm not in a position where I'm talking to people who can make substantive change in like policy or government. So any discussion I'm having is with someone who is like me on the sidelines, hoping shit gets better for whatever our definition of better is. And if I think that your point of view is so bad...
Oh, which, by the way, Senate and Rep elections are coming up, folks. Remember to vote.
Oh, yes. Every 2 years. It's not just every 4 with the president's election. Vote for you. And it's local stuff, too. It's not just your senators, representatives, your local stuff. The stuff that will directly impact you much more often and goes way underreported, way ignored. Local government. You've been going to local city council meeting. Well, you were. Until fucking...
I am. I still am.
What, during this fucking pandemic, are they having like Zoom meetings?
It's all...
Yeah.
They're fucking terrible at it, but they do it.
It's still worth it, man. You have, as a citizen, you have a right to have your voice heard, and abstaining is doing yourself more of a disservice than anyone else. So make sure you vote every 2 years.
You'll be surprised what your local does to you.
Yeah. Because, your
Especially
local
out
taxes...
here in the Midwest.
Yeah, exactly. Your local taxes, local zoning laws, provisions, your local representatives. These are people that are in your neighborhood. This isn't someone in a big house somewhere far away. This is shit that's right down the street from you, and you can make a difference. Local elections have been known to come down to single votes plenty of times. So... if you feel like your voice isn't heard in national elections, you can still vote. There's still hugely important shit that if you don't vote, your needs will not be considered in the slightest. Because even if you lose a vote in a local election, if it's close, then there's no political grandstanding that a fucking city councilman will be able to get. They're not getting a $50 billion book deal to be a asshole on TV. That's a person who knows their neighbors are probably pissed that they won and want to smooth things over with them. That local elections are so fucking important. Please, God, do vote every 2 years or however long. Sometimes special votes happen in local elections for individual things. Fucking stay informed, stay involved. It's very important. It's the only way this shit works.
Your local town hall will have a calendar on which everything is being voted on.
Yeah, and talked
about.
And most of those are online too. If you don't feel comfortable going outside, so just.
Mm-hmm.
So let's go to a negative thing, huh? It's a lighter negative thing. It's bad, but not.
Felt with everything going on, that was something
definitely.
to mention.
Definitely, and wear a mask too. While we're doing disclaimers, wear a mask. Wash your fucking hands. Social distance. So
don't cough on people.
Yeah, that can get you in jail now. There's videos of people like coughing on all the shit in Walmart. Like, that person is behind bars now.
I remember that. They were running around yelling, "I've got the COVID," and coughing on literally everything.
Yeah. Like, oh my God. Anyway. Negative. Have you seen Cabin in the Woods, Caleb?
Yes, I have.
What do you think about that movie?
It was... It's Dick here for a moment. It was a love letter to her as a genre, but on a whole, it's just your typical horror movie, but that's what it was meant to be.
Yeah. I watched it recently.
Oh, you did?
Yes.
How'd you like it?
Well, first of all, I'm very happy I had the energy to, because usually I am, you know me, I'm too fucking exhausted
Yeah.
as a standard to sit through a movie. But I actually just willingly subjected myself to a fucking
Distraction.
movie. Yeah. I
I-
liked it a lot until the ending.
Charlie, stop it.
I don't know
No.
what you just said.
I said, Charlie, stop it.
Oh, he's talking to his dog.
'Cause he's trying to crawl up on my lap. And
Oh.
he is a full-grown lab.
Oof. I liked Cabin in the Woods as a premise, as a story in and of itself. I like the idea of being a kind of spoof of slasher flicks, but it's not just a parody. It takes the tropes that have been parodied to death and it turns it into its own actual world. And that is the reason why I don't like the ending. Because if it was just a parody and they were turning every element on its head, the ending would make perfect sense. And I'm sure that's what they intended to do. And I am not one to say that a person's artistic integrity should be changed because I disagree with their intentions. Because that's not how that shit works. An artist makes art, a consumer consumes it, they like it or not, that's the fucking system. But the reason why I didn't like the ending, and I phrase it like that because I'm not saying they did it wrong or yada yada, is they set up such an intriguing premise. And it goes so far beyond the idea of the slasher flick spoof because it turns it into something so much bigger and so much more interesting. So when the ending is just a turn on the head, because if they had turned the ending into a serious, like, morality play, first of all, it wouldn't
really fit.
Yeah, it wouldn't work. It wouldn't fit with the whole tone of the rest of the fucking film, nor would it fit with the intentions of the people making it. But the problem is that, first of all, it's a trolley problem, which inherently means no matter your choice, you're gonna lose. And so there's no...
People are going to disagree with you, no matter your choice.
Yeah. There's always going to be a problem there. So I have no illusions that they're like, everyone's going to love this. Like, no. But if... The trolley problem is kill one person, save the entire world, and perpetuate a system that kills 5 people all over the world every year. Or kill the entire world, including the people that you don't want to kill.
And yourselves.
And yourself. And this is a system that only people on the inside know about. So the rest of the world is totally unaware of what the fuck is going on. So the ending, spoiler, of Cabin in the Woods is the world being destroyed by the ancients that come back after being held at bay by the yearly ritual of the slasher flick horror genre fucking tropes all over the world. Blood sacrifices of 5 people or more, depending on the trope. Because they have the Japanese schoolgirls, and there was more than 5 in there.
Yeah.
But that's the wrong answer to the trolley problem. It just is. You killed 7 billion people because...
And ironically, that is the point.
Yeah, that is the point. It's supposed to be taking the obvious answer and turning it on its head.
Because I don't know if you paid super attention to it, the tropes. The Ancient Ones is the audience.
Yeah. Like, at one point
The
they
movie-going
mentioned...
audience.
Yeah. They mentioned, like, we're not the only ones watching. Like, at that point I was like, oh, they're talking about us! Oh, shit! So yeah, I'm also a person that likes to dissect a movie as I'm watching it, which kind of ruins some of the fun, but it also means I don't have to sit through a movie twice in order to watch it with a critical eye. Because if you watch it as an audience member, totally immerse yourself, and then you're like, oh, I like this, or I didn't like this, and then someone's like, well, what about this thing? You're like, I don't remember that. Well, it's because you weren't fucking watching it. You were just totally engrossed, and that's fine. Not everyone wants...
Experiencing it.
Yeah. Everyone watches things and enjoys things in their own way and their own pace. It's totally fine.
Do movies and make jokes.
Yeah. I'm just someone that I know I can't watch movies over and over again because of my energy and my attention span. So when I watch a movie, I don't like people talking around me. I need subtitles so that I can get every word. I give it my undivided attention and I figure it out as it goes so that I can have like the most pure point of view on it that I could possibly have. And I still have fun watching it. I enjoyed the fuck out of the movie up until the ending. And I know it's the right ending for what they were trying to do. It is the correct thing that they should have done. But I don't like that choice. It's not that I dislike the creative decision behind it. I didn't like that the characters did it. It's doing what I'm supposed to do. I'm not supposed to like that they did that shit. And so there you go. It's in the negative only because it was a great movie and then a couple of characters fucked everything up and that was the point.
If you did not know, I believe the writers claimed that the movie The Facility that came out in the 90s is technically a prequel to Cabin in the Woods.
I did not know that. I've never heard of that movie.
It goes along the same lines, it just doesn't show what's going on in the background.
Oh, interesting. And I remember... go ahead.
I felt that they were basically saying, we're not going to make direct sequels, but we can make things in the same universe.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, and that is actually interesting. Bri watches this podcast where various people are interviewed about their favorite scary movie, and Rhett McLaughlin of Rhett and Link from Good Mythical Morning, he was interviewed, and his favorite horror scary movie is Cabin in the Woods. And he mentioned that he watched it as a double feature with his son, where the first movie was the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, one of the textbook examples of like all of the tropes mentioned in Cabin in the Woods. And he was like, so was this one of them? Was this one of the examples? It's a fan fiction, obviously, but it's a fun fan fiction to think that the Texas Chainsaw Massacre could have been one of the years where this system was put in place. And you know what? I haven't seen the movie, so I feel like they lost. I don't know, but yeah, it's an interesting premise that you can be endlessly creative with, and it's really fun and interesting. It's just the character's choice at the end pissed me off, and so it's in the negative just because of that. It's not a big important thing. It's just that.
No one has to totally like movies or movie. It's there to entertain you. Did you like it? It was fun, but I hated the ending. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Though, a fun comment on Texas Chainsaw Massacre, that actor was forced to stay in costume and on set for the entire week. And his Airstream did not have AC. So when you see him losing his shit, he's actually losing his shit in the movie.
Oh, God.
Texas summer heat in that costume, and you have to stay in costume the whole time.
The poor fuck.
So when he legitimately loses his fucking mind, that's him legitimately losing his fucking mind, because it's so hot and so much activity.
Oh, yeah. I can only imagine. Ready to go back to the good?
Yes.
All right. My next good thing is the fish stick story. This is a personal thing. that happened to
story?
me. What?
I was just questioning the time. I was like, should I know about this? Is this?
No, no,
Should I
no.
stop eating fish sticks?
No, no, it's in the good. It's in the good.
Okay.
I've eaten fish sticks all throughout my life. At one point, apparently, I was, in those early years where you're still figuring out food, ninth grade, somewhere on there. Apparently, it wasn't around that point, but at some point in my childhood, I got so fixated on fish sticks that I refused to not only eat anything but the same brand, which that brand just isn't around here or anywhere anymore, and it's sad, but it was the only thing I would eat for a month. And that's the kind of behavior that I feel like should get you abused. Like that no, I'm kidding. I should have gotten...
How do we solve this? Beatings.
Yeah. No, obviously no, I'm fucking around. But no, that is the kind of thing that should not have sorted itself out. That's the kind of thing where it's like, Jesus, you gotta fucking... I don't know how you solve that problem, but I basically was...
Intervention.
Yeah. I basically, as a child, was allowed to keep doing this until I just decided to stop. And that's really not the way to do it. But I'm not a parent, nor have I ever tried to be, so I have no idea how you would actually solve that. I know it's not beatings. It's a fucking joke. But, the reason I mentioned fish sticks in the good section is because recently I found a brand of fish sticks that I actually enjoyed. Not as good as the original, but they're still okay. And here recently I'm trying my best to stick to my diet to try to lose weight. I've been trying to do daily laps around the block, but here with my back injury, I haven't been able to do that this week. But I am still trying to dramatically cut down on the amount of things I'm eating, how much at a time. And the things I am eating, if I know I cannot trust myself to eat them responsibly, they're cut out entirely. Fish sticks was on that list, but here recently I've actually been able to eat them responsibly. I used to eat like 50 at a time, right? And that's fucking ridiculous. So in order to cut that down, I cut it in half. Instead of 52, I was allowed 26. And that's still a lot. But then here recently...
It's not as much.
It's definitely
Baby
not
steps.
as much. And here recently, I cut it in half again. So now I'm down to 13 fish sticks at a time. I'm only allowed 13 fish sticks at a time. I'm only allowed one sandwich at a time, one bowl of cereal, one packet of ramen. Like, just really getting my portions down to like human levels. And considering
What it says on the back of the package.
oh no, that's insane. Like ramen noodle serving size is half a packet. Who the fuck eats
Really?
that? Yeah, I swear to God, if you get a ramen packet, the serving size on the back of the package, the little plastic package, says half of a packet. So no, serving sizes on the back of labels are fucking bullshit. But I'm trying to get it to normal human levels. And as a result of this, I also have had to come to terms with the fact that I am a food addict. I did not grow up with a healthy relation to food. I am an emotional eater, and I also am someone who is easily enabled to make bad food decisions. I also have to constantly fight myself to not make bad decisions because in the fish stick story, I ate... this is before I got down to 13, so I was still at 26. I was still trying to get into that. I got a bowl, like a normal bowl, like a cereal bowl of my 26 fish sticks. I microwaved them. I took them to the bedroom to eat because I like to eat in the bedroom. We don't have a kitchen table. I can't eat in the living room because the dog will destroy me. So I don't want to eat in the office, so that only leaves the bedroom. So I laid down and I ate my fish sticks and I went to put my empty bowl on the side table. Spoof, will you stop? He's like fucking around out there. I went to put my bowl on the side table, which already had one bowl from last night when I had eaten cereal. And I know for you, this is like a nightmare because you don't believe in dishes in the bedroom, right?
I try not to, because I also had a huge problem with eating in the bedroom and then, holy crap, so many dishes.
Yeah. And in my head, I was like, well, I had my back injury. This is my recent change. Was it a back? No, I don't. For whatever reason, we didn't have any other clean bowls. This was like the last bowl. So I was like, and it was in the morning. So I was like, and if I want to eat fish sticks again later in the day, I would have to wash a bowl. Or if I just use this bowl, it would still be kind of fine. It would be a little gross, but all that's in there is breadcrumbs. So I guess it'd be fine. And so, but I couldn't fit both bowls side to side on my side table, so I'd have to put this bowl I wanted to use later in contact with a bowl that had cereal in it from yesterday. So I was like, no, those two can't touch, otherwise it's totally fucking dirty. And so my mind was like, well, if you want to use this bowl for fish sticks, it can't touch that bowl. So if you just use this bowl now, you wouldn't have to worry about waiting. And so, and this is my food addict brain telling me, it basically morphed trying to conserve a bowl into trying to eat more food immediately. And I actually caught myself getting up out of bed, being like, well, I guess that makes sense. Let me just eat more food right now so I don't have to worry about waiting to clean a bowl later. And I caught myself right before my foot hit the floor, just like, what the fuck am I doing? Why am I doing this? I just ate the right amount. I'm not hungry. Why am I doing this? And so I put that clean bowl under the dirty bowl. It was totally fucked. I couldn't use it again, even later without washing it. And I did not get more fish sticks. I beat my food addict in that exact moment. And it felt really good. No.
No. Need like a buzzer.
Yeah.
No, I totally understand that because I still have that problem. So I've been trying fasting. Only really one meal. And it's not a big meal because I'm a big dude. I got things to use. But I found it kind of works for me.
Yeah.
And I so understand that food addict thought process of, if I get it dirty, I'm gonna have, and just might as well just eat again now. So,
are you still doing that meat only thing?
No, I've phased everything back in. Otherwise, I'd be dying, both my wallet and me.
Yeah.
No, everything's been phased into, like you said, healthy, normal, human amounts. Hell, even when, I've gone to buffets with friends, I now only really get 2 plates, and they're not even full plates.
Yeah. That
no more stacking.
Yep.
Just
that's a big one.
That is. You go.
Sorry,
I'll cut you off.
No, I'm basically just echoing you. Like I also cut out snacking entirely. I basically have no desserts now. Like my dessert would be a PB&J. Like that's my dessert. I don't even have sugary.
Same. Yeah. Peanut butter and a glass of milk.
Yeah. We're using 1% milk here now.
How does it feel? You went down and I went up because I'm also using 1%.
Yeah. Like, the cereal I have is Corn Chex. That's the only cereal I'm allowing myself. I'm not even on Raisin Bran, for fuck's sake.
I was shopping for cereal the other day, and I do Raisin Bran because I love myself more than Chex. But I was like, wonder, and I was reading all of the cereals, all of like the really well-known cereals. Somehow, Cinnamon Toast Crunch has the lowest amount of sugar out of every cereal you really think about. That's not just outwardly healthy.
How in the ass?
That's what I was thinking. I was like, how did this beat like King Fruit Loops? But there, lo and behold, that's what it did.
That's fucking insane. I had no... Now, if you told me that, oh my god. Ah, holy shit. My world has collapsed.
Because
Go ahead.
I was looking, because I was like, I've been good. I'll get like a little box of the really sugary cereal and like spread it out. And I was like, what the fuck? I'd assume it would be fucking Reese's Puffs or Cinnamon Toast Crunch. That was the highest. One that's literally candy. Though, have you seen the new fucking cereals?
What new
Drumsticks and Peeps have cereal.
I have seen those. I'm too scared to try them.
And I'm just like, this isn't helping anything. Weren't we pushing against childhood obesity?
I mean, they weren't.
Or is this a trap? Like, you go up to the front and they're like, gotcha, fatty.
Off to food fat camp with you. Like, no, I just wanted Peeps. Like, I'm scared to try them because I'm worried that either they suck or that they're really good. And neither is a good outcome.
You just want to imagine, like, that they're good, and you're like, but I can't.
Yeah. I'm trying to imagine that they suck. Get rid of the temptation, you know.
That's a good point. Some of them just don't make sense, like, to me. Like,
Yeah.
Why would you want Peeps? Like, I've never looked at normal Peeps and been like, milk.
No, people don't even like normal Peeps. That's why
That's
they're only
true.
around once a year.
Most of the time I've seen people, they either force themselves to finish it, or they just take one bite and they're like, yep, that's good.
It's fucking ridiculous. You ready for another negative?
Yeah.
When you think of Subway sandwich delivery, what names come to mind?
Sub My Way. The Subway. Submarine Express.
I feel like you're dancing around one of the biggest fucking names. Jimmy John's, goddammit.
I thought you meant, like, I didn't realize you meant, like, an actual different chain. I was just thinking, like, what would I call my delivery service?
Fucking... This is some word association. When I say the word cat, what word comes to mind? Hatred! Hatred! No. Oh my god, no.
I was aiming for dog, but okay.
Jimmy John's was in the news here recently. Not on a corporate level, although the corporation did make a mistake. A couple of Jimmy John's employees decided to have a little bit of fun on a slow day. They made, out of fresh dough, a noose. And on video, which is always the big mistake, you're going to do something stupid and potentially racist. Don't film it! On or also don't do it. But if you're gonna do it, don't film it. They made a noose and proceeded to mock hang themselves with fresh dough. These 2 employees were fired after the public backlash, but Jimmy John's on their Twitter page did not address it formally, instead simply replying to someone who posted about it on an unrelated post of Jimmy John. So they didn't actually make a statement that they were fired. They were kind of hiding it. But yeah. First thing about this.
I think that's the. Yeah.
I was just going to say, the first thing about this is if you were going to hang someone and you had only a few materials around the house, fresh dough would not be the most effective strategy.
No.
You'd be hard-pressed to find...
It rips a lot.
Yeah. You'd be hard-pressed to find anyone, if the dough is high quality, to be small enough to be able to be held up by it. So not only are these people stupid and potentially racist because of the whole NASCAR, I don't remember, I think his name's Bubba, I don't know, the black NASCAR driver
Which
that
isn't
advocated
true.
for...
The FBI...
What? What'd you
The
say?
FBI found that it's been there for about... The noose was there for longer than Bubba was.
That's not what I heard, but that's the reason why it's not on my news sandwich, because...
He keeps complaining.
Well, that's the reason why that situation isn't in my news sandwich is because I haven't looked into it enough to say anything particular about it, because there's still everyone's still saying that Bubba lied, or Bubba's saying that no, he didn't, and some people are saying, well, it was like a door handle, but no, you saw the picture, it clearly was a noose. It's weird. That's the reason why I'm not addressing it right now, is because it seems like everyone has a different truth going on, and at that point, I know that either I haven't looked into it enough, or it's still too ongoing for me to be able to find any objective truth on it. But the point is, these Jimmy John's employees got fired, but it's on the negative because, 1, it happened, and 2, because Jimmy John's Twitter tried to hide their statement of firing about it.
I don't think that's a bad...
It's a good thing they got fired. It's just bad
not really
that it...
racist. Can you prove it was racist? To me, it just sounds like edgy kids saying they hate their life. Like,
well,
2
I
or
said
3
possibly.
years ago, no one really would have said racist.
I said possibly.
Even saying possibly, too. Like, when we were in high school, that would have just been, yeah, that's a dark joke about them being like, kill me now.
But when we were in high school, people weren't being hung all over the country during, in the midst of massive protest and violence and whatever.
Everyone knows about that. You know how many people I've talked to who don't do news or anything out of their vicinity?
Well, I mean, these were young people, and they posted the video themselves, so they obviously have some grasp on social media, but regardless, if you can suppose that it wasn't, I can suppose that it might have been. I'm not saying it was, I'm just saying that given everything that's been going on, nooses are in the news lately, it's not a good time to make noose jokes. That's all I'm saying. The point is, it's in the bad section because it happened and because Jimmy John's didn't make more of a statement about this shit not being okay. They just sort of replied to someone's tweet. They were like, they're gone. That's all it is. It's only a slight negative.
They would be called virtue signaling. Because at the end of the day, they got fired. It's the problem with Jimmy John's and these people. No one else really super needs to know.
I mean, not really. It's a publicly traded company, isn't it? Like, reputation is...
You'll be told about every company and why someone got fired?
No, but that information should be available if you're asking people to patronize your company.
It was. They commented.
They did.
They commented on what when asked, but should they go out of their way and tell people? No,
yes.
It's not something that needs to be told.
I disagree. Moving on, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Back to the good. Yeah, this one's nice. The Supreme Court. Been a lot of Supreme Court news recently. They've been making decisions left and fucking right. Wish they were this active all the time, goddammit. Seems like all the old Supreme Court news was either people dying or being on recess. I'm like, can you do something more than once a few years? But anyway, Supreme Court's been making a lot of fucking decisions lately, and one of them, in addition to what you said, another one was a unanimous decision. Ooh, when the fuck has that ever happened? A unanimous decision to allow states to punish faithless electors. Do you know what a faithless elector is, Caleb? I believe you do.
Not by definition, so I will get the definition.
A faithless elector is someone who has been chosen to be in participant in the Electoral College, which is so fucking dumb. The Electoral College is a group of people said to represent the popular vote of the place that they're representing. It is a smaller group of people that are supposed to, but are not required to, give their electoral vote to the people that were chosen by the people they're representing. Now, a faithless elector is someone who believes the population got it wrong, and for whatever reason, decides to choose someone other than who the popular vote chose. In the last presidential election, there was a record number of faithless electors. There was even a Native American activist who was not even trying to run for president who got an electoral vote. The first Native American to ever do so. And it was on both sides, too, of people just deciding, I think my state got it wrong, I'm going to choose someone else, be it the other side or someone who wasn't even involved. I think, like, Jeb got one, I don't even remember. But the point is, now, because the Supreme Court has decided this, a state can decide to punish, with legal action, a elector that decides to not follow the popular vote. Now, that doesn't mean that the popular vote will be properly represented, but it's closer to being represented to make sure that people actually do what they're supposed to do, which is to represent the people that won that state in the first place. I think that's very good. What do you say, Caleb?
I think it took them too damn long to do shit like this.
Right?
Because either let them be able to do that, but make it very well known who's doing it, because that's also something I've never heard of. Who is yours?
I have no idea.
Or who is the person? I don't think you're allowed to say who you are.
Yeah. I have no fucking clue.
Obvious reasons, but
they're mainly just political party
as
insiders,
you said,
like the
and
delegates.
I did agree to, it's when you're making changes that can affect literally everyone, you should be held accountable.
Yeah. I mean, on a much smaller scale, it's like the Twitch mods. No one knows who the Twitch mods are, but the people that are allowing all these fucking e-girls to get away with shit. What?
But no one knows who they are, and basically everyone agrees that they suck.
Yeah. I mean, this group of people who nobody knows, not even the owners of the fucking company seem to know who these people are allowing all the e-girls with ass cams to get away with everything from abusing animals to basically running a sex stream, which I don't think is a problem, except the abusing animals. That's always wrong. But, like, sex streams, totally fine. I don't care. Implement a rating system. It'll get abused. I don't give a shit. But also, then...
You might be on the wrong site.
Yeah. Then having a double standard for other people, that's a problem. I think, what was it? A guy got, like, banned because... Like, a small-time guy got banned.
He was walking barefoot.
Yeah, for being barefoot. Meanwhile, fucking other girls have ass cams and are basically only popular because they have the personality of a plank of wood, but they have tits, so there you go. And that's not all of them. I'm not making any generalizations here, but it is very well known that the Twitch mod staff are a
happening.
bunch of fucking simps just trying to get e-girls to send them feet pics and shit, and it's fucking ridiculous. But there's no accountability because no one knows who the fuck these people are.
And it's not like you can switch, because where else would you really go?
Yeah, because YouTube
Mixer's
streaming is
dead.
ass.
Facebook
streaming is ass.
and YouTube streaming is ass.
Mixer's dead.
There's, I think it's called Torrent or something like that, but that apparently has Chinese money behind it, so there's a good chance it's going to be just as bad in censoring people.
I have no fucking clue. That's not on my good or bad, but that could be an honorable mention bad here. The possible banning of TikTok. I'm a fan of TikTok. I don't want it to go away. And also TikTok has vehemently said they're not selling data to China. And it's an American company, too? I mean, if I remember correctly. So, like...
It's a Chinese company.
Well, I heard that it has, like, an American CEO and it's based in America or something. I don't fucking remember. This is why it's not...
I believe they do have an American office.
Yeah, but this is why I haven't included it in the news sandwich, because, one, nothing has actually happened in America yet. They banned it in India and in Hong Kong, but it hasn't happened here, and I'm fuzzy on details, and I don't want... Because I am a very small public figure, but I still am. So if anyone's listening to this and they're hearing all the shit we're saying about things that are happening, I don't want them to come away with misinformation because I accidentally said something that isn't true. So that's why I only want to keep it to stuff that I've actually read about or experienced. So that's why it's not in the news sandwich. The actual negative of the news sandwich is actually it involves China. It involves China, where all the fucking diseases seem to fucking crop up. Because that's not true, obviously, but like coronavirus, this COVID-19, the first big outbreak was in China. There was also this... in
Wuhan.
Mm-hmm. There was also like a new kind of coronavirus that I don't know all the details about that one, but it's got like no attention for obvious reasons. But here recently, in the past week, wouldn't you know it, but one of the old favorites, straight out of the 1300s, cropped up in China. The bubonic plague. A case of the bubonic motherfucking plague was discovered in China. And the thing is, the bubonic plague is not as big of a problem as it was back then, because now it can be treated, but it still can be deadly if not treated properly. And considering that our healthcare system is overtaxed right now as it is, they say it's not at risk of becoming a pandemic in and of itself, but it still happened. Like, what else needs to happen? I remember someone said that, like, 2020 is kind of like Cabin in the Woods in that scene where everything cropped up all at once. 2020 is the fucking elevator scene where everything is going wrong and from all different angles of all different kinds, all happening all at once.
A comment needs to be said, like, what happened to the murder hornets, too?
Yeah, the murder hornets, there's aliens, World War III almost happened. There's an election that's got like no attention anymore. The fucking police brutality and riots and protests and oh my fucking god, the plague is back. Okay, anyway, so yeah, that's in the negative because why the fuck not? Oh my god, dude, this is fucking nuts. You want a positive?
Let me pile on a little bit.
Go ahead,
more
yeah,
too.
sorry. I don't want to
Mumps and
steamroll you.
measles being deadly is also on the rise.
Yep.
Yeah! Things we thought we got rid of like 100 years ago.
I remember Lewis Black used to do this bit about how they said that the smallpox vaccine might be wearing off.
Because of course.
Yeah. That was a while back. I haven't heard anything about it other than that. But, like, seriously? Seriously? Everything. Just fuck it. Here's a good thing. So here recently I've been struggling to maintain a job because of my disabilities. We're waiting for a determination from disability. And in the meantime, I was able to certify for unemployment, so hopefully that'll... I see no reason why that would not work out. But I also applied for food stamps and state medical insurance. I got approved for food stamps, which is very, very helpful. Especially now that I'm eating less, it might actually help. And I also got approved for Medicaid. I haven't gotten my card yet, but I did choose a plan. And a primary care physician, they said that I would have no copays. My prescriptions would be $0. So hopefully that applies across the board, because if that is true, then your boy might actually be able to get some proper medical fucking treatment for a change. So that's very good. Very good news. That's my good.
What is it? Aren't we supposed to go to the doctor's office like every 2 months or something like that?
Yeah. And I've not had a dedicated doctor ever. The closest I ever had was a doctor that I would go to like once a year, and it was just because I kept choosing the same one. Like, they weren't my dedicated physician. When I was a kid, we would go to a nurse in a county health clinic, but it wasn't the same one every time. It was not my dedicated physician. It was just whoever was there, and we couldn't afford it, so it was only very severe stuff when we were ever go to the county health department. So now I have, for the first time, a primary care physician, and with the plan I chose is through Illinois, the state Illinois care. They say I can have $100 towards new glasses frames every 2 years, and extra dental care for adults, which I desperately need. So, like, and it doesn't cost anything. At least I haven't been told it costs anything.
I think it's either free or like under $50.
Yeah. And considering that they're saying that I would pay $0 for prescriptions, like, antidepressants are fucking expensive. And if you're treating any other mental disability, like my schizophrenia, that shit, like $500 a pill bottle. Like, it's fucking ridiculous.
I can fucking imagine. When I had blood pressure because Walmart fucked me up.
Mm-hmm.
It was, I think, it was 100 and something, $36 a pill.
Yeah.
Like, for something I can cure with alcohol.
And that's for anyone for anyone out there who's struggling with prescription medication costs, don't have insurance that covers you. Want to give a recommendation here. Again, not a sponsor, but I fucking would. GoodRx. It's a website where you can print off coupons for your prescriptions totally for free. You can also get a card that you can take to the pharmacy to give you a certain percentage off most, not all, prescriptions. I recommend checking out your individual prescriptions ahead of time to see how much of a discount you can get. Because on some, you'll get a good amount taken off. On others, it might be a couple bucks, and if at all. So it really just comes down to the individual basis. But any money saved, any chance at money saved, sometimes can be the difference between life and death when it comes to medications. So goodrx.com, check it out. use a special promo code. No, it's again, no, not a sponsor, but it's very fucking important. No.
No. No, I agree with you. Any fucking amount of money you can save on pills definitely needed, especially now with a lot of people being out. My family had to just deal with a little bit of backlash due to that, actually. So I
Backlash.
wholeheartedly support. Um, one of my cousins has severe schizophrenia that was treatable with medication, and he lost his job, thus losing the insurance, so he couldn't afford the pills, and then was kicked out due to house due to fear of because he had children
Jesus.
and could get violent. And just a long story short, he is now arrested on murder.
Whoa.
Uh,
And this,
I'll explain if you want me to, but
I mean, it's
I didn't want to get.
it's your fucking family business. It's up to you. But I'm just like, this is from what you've just said. It sounds like a dude who, if he hadn't lost his job, he would still be a functioning member of society.
Yeah.
So the only difference between this guy being a father and having a contributing role in society, the only difference between that and being arrested for murder is the fact that there's no publicly available option for affordable health care. It's all through employers if you want it to be any amount of affordable, which is an unsustainable system. And now this dude's life is ruined. Fuck, that's sad.
Or even just a safe place to be
Yeah,
and go to, supported by this.
that's
Story
fucking
goes,
sad.
after he was kicked out, he found he got to a shelter, but shelters around where he are 2 week shelters. You have that time to get on your feet, blah blah blah. So he was bounced around until someone tried to mug him while he was on the streets, and that did not end well.
Yeah.
No, and out of fear and his mental capacity telling him to run and hide, because he was informed shortly after that that was a well-known gangbanger, and he went into hiding to hide from. And with everything going on, he was afraid to go to the police, and his wife was contacted menacingly by unsavory people about getting revenge. He went out and found him and turned him over to the police. But because he had ran and not turned himself over right away, he got at aggravated assault and I think 3rd-degree murder. Whereas if he would have went right away, he would have gotten, I think, manslaughter at worst.
Fuck.
But because there was no safety net on on people that need it, he is now up for murder of the 3rd-degree.
That is, if there wasn't a better fucking example of a reason why. Oh my fuck. First of all, I'm very sorry this is happening to a member of your family or anyone at all, and that is so fucking depressing and infuriating. I don't even know this dude. I just know that, like, it's a medical condition. He's not, like, possessed by the devil. It's already proven by his life before he got fired that he could be at least considered a contributing member of society despite his medical problems. And you can chalk it up to, well, whatever caused him to get fired. Well, that's not the problem. Well, why did his family kick him out? Well, that's not the problem. Why couldn't he just try to do something to get a different thing to afford the pills? That's not the fucking problem. The fucking problem is the fact that the medications are super fucking expensive, so it's not like he could just, like, donate blood and get your pills. Like, that. First of all, that's fucking barbaric. But also, just, like, the fact that he had to be employed in order to be to live anything considered a normal fucking life, and then it just gets ripped away for whatever reason, and now he's caught up in so much shit that is so far beyond what would have ever happened if he had just not been born here. If he had been in a country that had a nationalized health system, or at least a place where people with mental problems can go if they have nowhere else to go that'll take care of them, that is a medical facility, where the government was formed with any sort of form of basic fucking empathy towards people who have actual medical problems, this dude would not be in jail. He would be either at home with his fucking family, his wife and kids, or he would be somewhere where he can be taken care of by medical professionals. But no. He's here. In fucking jail. Motherfucker. I'm fucking bummed now, man. I'm not... I don't want to sound like I'm blaming you. Like, how dare you make me upset? Like,
how dare you bring down the vibe?
Like, no, that is fucking heartbreaking. So many hearts breaking. That's a family destroyed. That's a person's life destroyed. This isn't politics, goddammit. These are lives. These are human fucking beings.
Agreed. A lot of these places need counselors to check if some of these people need this sort of help, or if they're just like, yeah, they just need the 2 weeks to get on their feet. And then the states definitely need ways to help and support these types of people.
Yeah, because 2 weeks is not enough. You can't rebuild a fucking life from the ground up in 2 weeks. That's fucking bullshit.
Because he was downsized as fired.
He didn't even do anything wrong. It's just company had to make some cutbacks.
They couldn't afford any of their employees anymore. And wished them luck and told them they'd have a job once we get back on our feet.
And unemployment wouldn't have even solved that, because that wouldn't cover the cost of living, and probably not even the cost of living by itself, but also fucking expensive-ass medication that now is at full price.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, my fucking God. Well, in order to not have this run into a complete fucking standstill, we're on the negative, so unfortunately we gotta go into something that's other fucking infuriating, but to a much less degree, at least. J.K. Rowling is a transphobe.
Yes, she's a TERF.
Yep. Which, I don't like that term because it kind of misuses some of the words in that fucking acronym, but she has adamantly gone on record several times saying that trans women aren't women because women have periods, and that's what defines you as a woman, because apparently women that are infertile or can't have periods, or maybe they're past that age where they don't have periods, or anything, like, Like, that defines the woman, apparently. Also, I don't want to turn this into a fucking rant about it. Obviously, she's wrong, and it's fucking infuriating that such a public figure not only would be so adamant about this inherently wrong thing, but she also recently signed an open letter with a bunch of other authors complaining about cancel culture. She is such a public figure. Yeah, I know. This is the person I referenced when I was talking about it, but she is such a public figure that she is normalizing for a lot of people who take her as an authority on something this kind of mindset. That is harmful and perpetuates abuse and harassment of people that are just trying to live their lives. That is harmful on a scale that she needs to be held accountable for. And for her to whine about people being mean to her on Twitter because of it. Like, she is dehumanizing people and treating it like people who are transgendered are mentally ill. She can go fuck herself. I'm not purchasing a Harry Potter book ever again. I wasn't interested in the Fantastic Beasts bullshit, but now I'm definitely not doing that. That's my choice. That's my choice. You do whatever you want. But I'm not supporting a hate-filled piece of shit like that. What say you, cohort?
Sorry, I was trying not to laugh because I saw this all start, and I just found it hilarious because I'm also a big proprietor of, like, why do we need to know your opinion on this? You are an author of a child's book. Shut up.
I don't agree with that.
Talk about child's book shit online.
I don't necessarily agree with that. Because, I mean, like, even she has her opinion. I think she's wrong. I think she's a fucking asshole. She has the right to have opinions other than what she does as a career. Like, what am I as a career? I'm unemployed. Well, fuck. But no, the thing I'm known for in a public space is visual novels,
You read
voice acting.
a fanfic.
Exactly. So, am I just not allowed to voice my support for Black Lives Matter, for example? Well, no, apparently not, according to a version of the mindset that you are proposing there. And a children's author, well, she shouldn't say anything other than stuff about children's books. Well, no. That's like the shut up and dribble people, where they're like, oh, basketball players, they shouldn't have political opinions, or at least they shouldn't say them. Like, no, they have every right to do that. And I have every right to tell them to go fuck themselves if they're fucking wrong. God damn it.
But, okay. I concede you're right in that. I just found it funny because this woman had signaled for years just for the crowd she was preaching to eat her alive, and that's what I found hilarious.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. It's... And she didn't have to do it. She had every right to, but she didn't have to do this.
But I find one of the main reasons I find shit like that funny is because I watch, like, some of my friends who actually try to then, like, whittle away the person who wrote it, and I'm like, you don't have to do this. I like Lovecraftian books. We, as a group, have decided we don't give a fuck about the man.
Yeah.
For years. Welcome to the club where the author doesn't matter.
Oh, yeah. And that's the thing, is I still enjoy the books and the stories. I think that Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone is one of my favorite experiences watching a movie ever. But I'm not going to give a transphobe my money.
Yeah, but buy secondhand.
Yeah, exactly.
She doesn't get any of that shit.
Exactly. Go to a used bookstore, which are usually independent stores. Go to an independent used bookstore. Support someone who is trying to run a business, unless that business is transphobia. There you go.
Or your local library. Your local library sells books too.
There you go.
Any book they can't put into publication, in case you don't have a used bookstore.
Exactly. This is the capitalist America we live in, where money decides that people live or die. So spend your money based on whatever fuck reason you want. I remember that government teacher that we were talking about. They got fired for porn day. He once asked the class a question. He liked to start the class with some kind of interesting question at the end of every class, at the beginning of every class, and one of them was, "Do you think that?"
That's where he got those quotes.
Yes.
That's where he got some of those.
Mm-hmm. He asked us, "Do you think that people should be able to use religion as their reason for their vote?" Now, you know me, Caleb. I am not a religious person. I am borderline anti-religion. I think that religious organizations have done some good. I think they have done a fuck ton of bad. And that's not just any in particular religion, fucking all of them. I think child indoctrination is wrong, no matter what the cause. So, yeah, not a religious person. However, I vehemently support anyone using their religion as a reason to vote. Because that's their right. It's their right to vote. Whatever they vote, that's their vote. Whatever the reason for it, does not fucking matter to me. Your vote, it's their right to vote. There you go. I don't think religion should be anywhere to do with law. But that's why I don't vote for religious zealots. And that's why I hated living in Kansas. One of the many reasons. So, yeah. That's a negative. that was one of the negatives. J.K. Rowling, beloved author who turns out is a hate-filled piece of shit. Ready to move on to the next positive?
Yeah. Well, that was a weird voice crack. Damn you, allergies.
Caleb?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. This is going to seem like a weird one to put in a positive, because it is relishing in the pain of others. But I don't give a shit.
Very Schadenfreude.
Yeah.
Schadenfreude or Schadenfreund.
Whatever.
Took the language for years.
Yeah. Brazil has been run by a COVID-denying piece of fuck for a while now. His last name is Bolsonaro. I don't know how to say his full fucking name. He is a misogynist. He is a racist. He is a homophobe. And for a long time, he denied COVID as being nothing but a flu and not a big deal. And if you died from it, well, you were going to die anyway. And what am I supposed to do about it? Fuck you. I'm not making any precautions.
Uh-huh.
He tested positive for coronavirus. Fuck him. I hope he dies. I don't give a shit whether that sounds good or not. I hope this hate-filled, fascist, racist, homophobic, misogynist piece of shit who has inadvertently caused the death of thousands, I hope he joins the pile. What say you, Caleb?
I don't know the man, so I can't say jack shit.
Right.
It's just, again, always funny to see people who deny shit, it happened to them.
Yeah, the people were like, "Oh,
this isn't real."
The blood of Jesus will keep the snake's poison from killing me. Voluntarily gets bit by snake, dies of venom poisoning. Apparently Jesus wanted you dead. Fuck. So, going from that jovial news.
What are you eating?
Oh, he's
Yeah.
gotta make sure his dog ain't eating shit. Back down
Again.
to a negative.
2-year-old labs. Anything that bolted down.
Same with my Australian Shepherd Husky. You mentioned ICE earlier. One of your neighbors working for immigration.
Oh, so you finally figured... I think the last time you said you guys didn't know, he was just mutt.
Oh,
or
no,
I
we've
misremember.
known for a while. Yeah, Spoof is an Australian Shepherd Husky mix. But the previous owners lied to us. That's why we were confused. ICE made a announcement this week saying that any international
Ice, vanilla ice?
No, you mentioned or I said that I fucking referenced something you said like a second ago. The immigration neighbor
you
guy.
You said ice and then it went quiet and then you were like ice. Like,
Your neighbor that works for the immigration people, ICE, that organization made an announcement today saying, not today, in this past week, saying that any international student who is studying here in the United States on a student visa, they will either have to be on in-person classes in the fall, or they will be kicked out of the country. Apparently, according to the regulations, online classes for international students are limited to 3 credit hours per semester. You can't just take all your classes online. However, they did say that they would not hold it to that because Lord knows ICE of all agencies are known to be lenient when it comes to foreigners. But schools were given 9 days to figure out how they want to respond to this in order to either, are they going to open up are they going to open up their schools for in-person classes in the fall? Some big schools, I believe Harvard said that their entire academic year is going to be only online this year. A lot of schools are either doing online only or they're doing a hybrid of online and in-person classes where they have decided you can't take this certain class online. And there's a sizable percentage that are planning still on just having full in-person open campus. This has left a lot of international students in a state of panic because they already are having trouble being here because of travel restrictions. They can't go back home. They're stuck here. But now they might be ripped away from the school that was providing their housing. But they can't go back home because of the travel restrictions. So they'd probably go into federal ICE housing, which notoriously lost track of 1,500 children at the Mexican border. They lost them. There was speculation that they wound up popping up in human trafficking, but I don't know enough about that to say that definitely. The official statement is ICE lost 1,500 children. And this is the organization that's going to be in charge of holding international students, of which there are 1 million plus in this country, because they can't stay at the school that they paid to go to, because they're not open for in-person classes during a fucking pandemic. What do you think about this?
If I remember right, lost is was a miss. It was more like we don't have the paperwork for them. But that's, again, vaguely remembering a government article from months ago.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's still lost. more than likely, my guess is what's going to happen is they're going to basically just tighten the leash and get more visits from people making sure you are where you are.
Hopefully. Because, I mean, ICE has been going after people who were born in this country and kicking them out. There was a professor in Lawrence that was an American citizen who was forced to go to his parents' country of origin. He didn't have a life there. He was a member of the community for a long time. He was a professor. And he got fucking kicked out and sent to a country he didn't know anyone at. He didn't have a family there. He didn't have a life there. He didn't have infrastructure. He didn't have any sort of financial support. And that was an American citizen. So how in the fuck are these international students going to be... Can we really trust that this isn't going to be used as a way to bolster Trump's deportation numbers for the people who think that America should be for the Americans, whatever the fuck that means?
Isolationism?
Yeah.
Different comment, but just, again, one I found funny and be for later. Anywho. No. I honestly think it's going to boil down to trying to on people and basically left alone.
I hope.
Because it's just American dollars to get rid of someone who's already approved to be, and that's just government bloat at a time where we don't the bloat do it. Why did you stick my foot in your mouth?
On a different...
Talking to you, dog.
On a different note, on positive side of things, Central Park Karen has been charged. If you don't know about Central Park Karen, she has a real fucking name, and it isn't Karen, but it's funny to call her that. She was on film calling the police on a black person who was just going about their business.
He was bird watching.
He was bird watching, and she had her dog off the leash, and he asked her to put the dog on the leash, and she called the cops saying that he was threatening her and attacking her and yada yada. She has been charged with false police call. I fucking lost the term, but basically calling the police and wasting their fucking time. Falsifying a report. There you go. And I am very happy for that.
I think it's $1,500 and for a year in jail.
Yeah, it could result in a year in jail or some amount of months of probation, and it definitely is a fine. And I'm fucking great. I'm glad. I'm so fucking happy. And that actually will play a part of my next piece of good news, but we have to go negative before we go positive because it's a fucking sandwich. And But yeah, very happy to hear that Central Park Karen is possibly going to jail, and she definitely still got charged with the criminal acts that she committed. She committed a criminal act. Deserves to be punished for it.
She also got a fine right away because Central Park is not an off-leash park.
There you go. So, fuck her in every hole with a rusty fishing knife. The next negative thing... Oh, are you... I want to steamroll
No,
here.
I agree with you. She should have just complied and, like, it's not a hard request. Like, put your dog on a leash.
Yeah,
I've seen the man. He is not an intimidating man either.
Yeah. Of course, it's not hard. Is not like with all these fucking people pitching hissy fits in Costco and Walmart and Dollar Tree because they won't put on a fucking mask. Like, I saw an elderly woman get screaming at employees that are talking to her very calmly. She refused to leave, sat down on the floor like a fucking pouting toddler. Because she has rights and they're trying to force her to wear a mask. These people deserve to fucking die. And the thing is like, the mask does more to protect other people than just themselves, but it also protects you. It protects everyone. So you're putting yourself and other people in danger, but, you know, you don't want to spend 20 minutes with slightly harder to breathe. You know, it's like people who have respiratory issues, people with asthma. These people are still saying that masks aren't a problem. It doesn't damage your lungs. I heard someone claim that shit.
Wait, the CO2 conspiracy theory?
Yeah.
Oh, no. Oh, I heard a manager at Dollar Tree. I haven't seen anyone pitch a hissy fit yet. But I have seen people kind of be like, why? I very politely, but still kind of that charged. Give me a good reason. And he said, because you've never complained about the no shoes, no shirt, no service policy. We just added something onto it.
Yeah. And I remember, now I'm remembering this. There was someone working at it was a Dollar Tree, and they told a guy to wear a mask. He refused.
Oh,
he left, and he came back.
about.
Yeah, he came back and killed them. Someone was murdered for asking someone to wear a mask. Are you fucking kidding me? Oh my fucking God. A human life was snuffed out because they asked you to wear a piece of fucking cloth over your face to protect people's lives. And you decided that was worthy enough to fucking kill someone!
And that's not even... If I remember right, it happened when it wasn't even forced everywhere. Like, you could have just gone to a different fucking store.
Yeah, it's so... I can't fucking... This year has seemingly done everything it can to destroy hope in humanity. It's...
I have a question for you on the same topic.
What's up?
Because I've never got straight in. What is your state's policy on masks? Because some people I've heard say you have to buy the disposable one and change them. Here, it doesn't matter. Like, they're giving out masks if you don't have any, like ones made by people in the community.
Yeah, I mean, the masks I wear were made by Ivy, who lives in Kansas. In Illinois, I wear a cloth mask because we can't afford to keep buying fucking the proper medical ones.
Yeah, because they're like $50 for 10.
Yeah, fucking that should be illegal. But it is required. But fucking I am so mad at this state's government because the governor was putting in place restrictions and yada yada, and some fucking Republican state senator decided to sue because they said it was infringing on the rights of the whatever, and they won. They weren't right, but they won. And so now the fucking governor's restrictions to keep people safe was pulled back. And so now we're apparently starting to go into phase 4, whatever the fuck that means, where, and more and more people are dying every fucking day. And that actually leads into the next negative thing, which is the amount of cases, confirmed COVID-19 cases in the United States passed over 3 million. 3 million. That is fucking insane. By far the most of any country.
Because isn't India like 1? And they're the closest.
Yeah. And they have way more people. And that's the thing is... I just... This whole situation is like catered to, like, I'm trying to do everything I fucking can. Whenever I go out, I wash my hands before and after I go to the store. The only place I go to is the store. I don't have a job. I don't go visit people. It's all I fucking do. I wear a mask. I take care of myself. I try not to touch things. And I have done seemingly everything I can possibly do. And every day it seems like it's just getting worse and fucking worse. And I very much believe in staying informed and staying on top of what's going on around you, locally, internationally. I think it's very important. Obviously, you can't know everything. You shouldn't try, but knowing what's going on in the world around you is the only way for you to be able to address any of the things going on. And it just feels like more and more everything I'm trying to do is not fucking mattering, because even though I am not sick, the state I'm in is trying to cater to people who are trying to jumpstart the economy and profit off of this shit. Jeff Bezos is way more rich now than he was before this all started. And people are trying to exploit loopholes every which way they can to be able to make money during this thing, instead of trying to protect people's lives. And in countries where people's lives matter more than the fucking profit of some goddamn corporation, their cases have gone down. And yes, people have had to live more restricted lives for the time being, but they understood that it was for everyone's fucking benefit. And lives were saved. But here, where the almighty dollar is more fucking important to people than keeping everyone else safe, just because you feel that wearing a mask infringes on your fucking rights. Fuck you! As far as I'm concerned, the way this country has handled this pandemic has not only damaged the people who have it, but the people who are around it. I can't fucking take it. I can't deal with it. Every day, when I think about it, it burns me out. I had to stop watching the news because I couldn't fucking handle it, and it's only gotten worse since. I can't fucking believe the depravity and the deplorable nature that this whole thing has been handled with. It is soulless, heartless, and inhumane. And I think anyone responsible for any of all this stuff, if I still believed in a death penalty, which I fucking don't in reality, but these people deserve to be penalized to the fullest extent of the fucking law. So to answer your actual question, masks are mandatory, but it doesn't matter which one in the state of Illinois at this particular time.
Okay. Same here. We just seem to having... It's Johnson County, Leavenworth, the prison, and Tyson. Those are hot spots here.
Yeah.
Tyson as the factory, not a place.
Not a dude named Tyson.
Yeah. But the only big major thing that's happened here, for the most part, our politicians have been focusing on getting through this rather than arguing, which I appreciate. Was they outlawed church during, I think, Easter.
Good.
And people out of state were like, they can't do that. I'm like, you haven't been to Kansas. These fucking old people with air tanks would have waddled their ass to Easter service.
And a lot of them still did like outside services,
which is a little bit better because you can spread out. But
yeah,
most of the churches around here outwardly have a sign that says what time their services start on Zoom or YouTube.
Yeah. I was driving to the store today, and I drove past a school where sporting teams were practicing. I don't know why. It's the summer, but okay. And
was it a high school, a college?
It was a high school.
College?
It was a high school, and
I
these
don't know
people
why.
were
Camp, maybe?
They were all scrunched together. None of them were socially distanced. No one was wearing a mask. And I was just like, these people are being put in a position where they could die. And it really feels like people who are ignoring social distancing are basically committing attempted murder. Like, that's what it fucking feels like. Like, premeditated assault. That's what it fucking feels like. Because if you don't do what you can do to prevent the spread of a disease, whether you know you have it or you don't, and someone gets sick because of that, they'll never know it was because of you. Which is why no one will ever get charged. But if you're responsible for a gathering of people and people in that group get sick, you are responsible for that. And you should be fucking held accountable. Can we go to a positive thing?
Yeah.
So,
Kind of somewhat countered, not really. But it doesn't super matter, so it was just a downer.
yeah.
So let's talk about something positive.
The last positive thing was Central Park Karen being charged. The next positive thing, literally, I saw last night. A San Francisco Police Department enacted a new act. And I want to make sure I read the name of it correctly. It is the Caution Against Racially Exploitative Non-Emergencies Act. Which you might have noticed spells out Karen. The Karen Act makes it prohibitive, and it makes it further punishable if someone is caught calling the cops for no good reason based off of race. And everyone online rejoiced. They thought it was the most hilarious shit ever. I agree. I love that they called it the Karen Act. And I totally stand by it. If someone calls the cops because a black person exists, but they're saying that they're doing something bad, that person should be in fucking jail. So, that was a very positive thing. Very joyous. It gave me a well-needed smile, and I think it's doing a very good thing in addition. What say you?
Like they should just enforce false claim reports better, but
Yeah.
it is fun.
I have the full text here, I think.
But that is a city that outlawed cowboy boots.
They outlawed cowboy boots?
If you can't prove that you own a cow, you can get fined $500 for wearing cowboy boots.
Yeah, but is that enforced?
Who knows?
I highly doubt it. That sounds like one of those ancient laws that just never got repealed. Yeah, it makes it unlawful for an individual to fabricate false racially biased emergency reports. And yeah, okay, so yeah, it basically is adding on to the falsifying a police report thing, but it also, yeah. I just think that's good. You ready for my last negative thing? Because we've been at this for 3 hours.
Yeah.
My last negative thing. I added this to the list today. Another Supreme Court ruling. 7-2. Allowing a corporation to use their religion as a reason to refuse to give birth control as part of an employee's healthcare package. I see this as very bad, but I want you to have the first word on this, because I feel like we might have differing opinions on it, and also I'm tired of hearing me rant. I'm exhausted right now. I'm fucking tired. I've been mad for a long time. So what do you think about this Supreme Court ruling?
Honestly, it, it there's the crux. I don't super like it when in governments tell people what they can and can't do. 'Cause I'm very individualistic, whatnot. I see the need for it. Honestly, people are going to use this just to cut costs. I will bet dollars to donuts there will be very few companies that truly claim it as a religious reason. Even then, I don't think it should fall totally on the individual person. It's big corporation versus little corporation, mom and pop, and whatnot. But at the end of the day, it is something women use to regulate things for way more health benefits than just not babies. So I just think it's going to be used as a way to cut costs, not a way to actually have their moral fiber up.
I totally
And
agree.
that's not.
I this is totally going to be used by fucking greedy corporations to get away with some shit that does not matter to them at all, but they're just going to use it as an excuse and to cut costs and to spend less money on their employees. And it's abusive, it's harmful, and I don't think religious objectivism should have any part in law other than to say, we're not going to fucking tell you what to believe, but you're not going to be able to use it to harm people. And this is harming people.
Yeah. Because honestly, once you get to a certain size, I don't really think your religious doctrine matters at that point. You are a corporation, not a small business.
Which is also why I think...
If I walked in and I could see the owner working, then yeah, they can make whatever decisions they... But if I walk into Walmart, fuck you.
Yeah.
You can afford it. You have no real moral fiber dealt in this. This is all bottom line.
Yeah. I don't 100% agree with you. I do see your point. But the way I figured is if the only way you can afford to have a business is if you exploit or endanger your employees, then you don't need to have a business. Like, it's, yeah, but yeah, because like for some people, birth control is a life or death thing. It's not just about, like you said, it's not just about stopping babies. Like, for Bri, I won't go into all the details because that's her personal medical information, but for her, birth control, she had to fight her own family for a long time to prove that birth control was a super important thing for her because she has anemia. I could say that's not a, whatever, but due to complications with her reproductive system, if she didn't have birth control, she would be basically put in a coma or made totally fucking lethargic or unable to do anything, could kill her 3 weeks out of a whole month. To be 1 week where she'd be okay and then everything would go to shit again. And so she needs birth control for more than just in case we feel like not using a rubber. But when you say birth control, it's not really what it is. It is a function of what it does, but that's not all that it is. And women's health in general in this country is rooted in such archaic bullshit. Like, if you and I, as holders of testicles, if you or I wanted to get our cord snipped, I'm trying to remember, what is it? Vasectomy, thank you. If we wanted to get that, we would call a doctor, get a consultation, and then we'd be good. We could pay for it, insurance, whatever, there you go. But if a woman wants to get her tubes tied, they can be refused because you'll change your mind, or in some places you have to have a male say that it's okay. Like, if you're married, your husband has to agree to it. And it's rooted in the idea that, well, the woman's reproductive system is it benefits both the people. Well, no, it's her fucking body, and it's not just about babies. And then you've got fucking crusty white old men in fucking Congress deciding that birth control is supplementary because, well, just don't be irresponsible. Oh, that's what that is. It's not just about controlling births. It's about regulating that entire system inside your body. It's a medicine. It is a medical problem. It's not a matter of morals. It's not a matter of, well, don't fuck without a rubber. It's more than that. But now, if a corporation wanted to claim that they're just too damn religious to believe in it, they can get away with it because all of the men on the Supreme Court said that it was fine. All the women said it wasn't. Wonder who has more of an idea of the severity of the issue here. But I have one last piece of good news if you're ready for it.
Yeah, sorry. The dogs are staring at me.
Creepy.
I think they want something.
Yeah. Well, we're almost done, I promise. My last piece of good news for the news sandwich, much lighter, much less heavy. I had a lot of energy lately before my injury, but also kind of during it, because what the fuck else was I going to do? And my energy allowed me to, for the first time in a while, binge a show. Now, this show is not your typical show. It's an interview show, shorter episodes, but I watched a lot of episodes in one day, which I normally cannot do. And that show was comedians in cars getting coffee.
Ah.
A Netflix original. It's Jerry Seinfeld picking a car that he feels represents his comedian interviewee, and then they chat about everything they want to chat about, have some laughs, they go get coffee at whatever small place they go to, and it's just a fun time. No heavy topics, no pretentiousness, and you get to see a more human side of a lot of people who have these stage personas. And a lot of my favorite comedians are on that show. Hell, he did an episode with Barack Obama, for fuck's sake. Like, that was an interesting one for me. So yeah, I recommend it if you have Netflix and if you're interested in that kind of thing. I enjoyed it. I'm also glad that I was able to enjoy so much of it all in a row, which is very unlike how I usually am. And it is a sign of progress, if anything.
But have you watched Tiger King yet?
No, I don't know if I'll ever have enough energy for that. I know more about these people's lives having never watched the show than I ever would have if I even tried.
I remember when it first came out, I could hear Bri yelling at you, "See, other people want you to watch it too."
I did hear recently that the court that decided, it might not have been the same court, but that they gave the zoo to Carol Baskin. They said that she legally owned it, but they also found that the will that was used as evidence was forged. It was fraudulent. So, and the thing is,
Whacked him.
yeah, I don't know diddly dick about all the intricacies involved there, but I just know that the shit show is still going.
It's like a 6-hour long episode of 60 minutes, honestly.
Yeah. Pissed me off as those 30-minute episodes of 60 minutes. It's like, you're giving me half an episode here. I paid for the full 60 minutes and you're giving me a half hour? Fuck you.
At least give me a bonus reel.
Yeah, give me something. Give me a highlight reel of you fucking up your lines. I know you've done that enough. Anyway, there's been 3 hours of me going insane and Caleb trying to rein me in, which I appreciate. I really do, and I'm really glad you're here. An honorable good thing to add to the news sandwich. I am very happy that you're back, Caleb. I hope that we can make this a regular thing again. I really enjoy talking to you, even if it is 90% me yelling and you being like, well, not really.
Well, hey, man, if we were both screaming, the show wouldn't be entertaining.
True. Hopefully when you get your computer replaced.
No, I'm glad to be back. And I actually like that this was our first episode. It gives people a feeling of who I am.
Yeah, we covered a
who
lot of
you
shit.
are and,
Yeah.
yeah.
And hopefully when you get your
And it
computer
shows
updated and when Aaron said he'll just send you, he doesn't have to worry about, you don't have to worry about reimbursing. He'll just send you the microphone. So
Okay.
he'll get a microphone
Cool.
soon and you're you get a new
Hopefully
computer.
my new setup.
Yeah, hopefully, because there's been a little bit of crackliness. This is all over Discord, so it's not going to sound like there's two people in the room, but hopefully it'll get better. Hopefully it'll sound better at some point. There's a possible way that we might improve the sound quality. We'd have to work on that. The idea is basically that while we're doing this recording, I would just record my audio and you would just record your audio. That way we don't have the audio being over Discord where it gets all fuzzy.
Yeah.
Might try that. We'll talk about it. But for right now, I've had no food today. And I've been awake for 9 hours-ish. So I'm going to go eat something and probably go veg out on the bed for a while because this was 3 hours, man. It was very nice talking to you again.
I'm going to rejoin the wasteland. It's nice talking to you, my friend.
I look forward to us doing this again next week. I'll try to have less stuff on my news sandwich. Hopefully you'll have more stuff on yours. And hopefully...
And remember to comment something that we
Yes.
should talk about next week.
If you have any questions for us, let us know. If you have any topics you want us to talk about, let us know. It doesn't have to just be stuff that happened in the past week. If there's just stuff in general you want us to discuss, please let us know in the comments down below if you want to.
Curious on whether we prefer sandwiches or not.
Yeah,
Don't
anything.
fucking care. We can talk.
Heavy or not, we will talk about it forever. You can follow Caleb on Twitter at RubberBandJigglePhysics. You can subscribe, like, do all the stuff here. Check out Patreon if you want to. Give me money. That'd be nice. There's perks and shit over there. Thank y'all very much for joining us.
One of those is not feet pics, but it should be.
Oh, for fuck's sake. Thank y'all
When
very
are we getting the OnlyFans?
Thank y'all very much for joining us on this episode of All the Above. I have been the trained unprofessional Decker Link.
And I'm Caleb.
And we will see you next time. Bye, everyone.
Can't be like that.
What?
Bye. Dogs.
Oh.
They're seeing me stir, so they're
Oh,
getting
they're getting
excited.
ready for some shit. Bye, everyone.